Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Welcome everybody to the third and final evening of the PUBG Players Super Cup. My name is Kovo. I'm here joined by Felix. How are you doing, good sir?
Man, it's an amazing day. It's an amazing day. We might end the next 4 games with the Germany team up top. We're going to see totally unbiased opinion here, totally unbiased comment. But obviously, a lot of other teams have something to say about this. We'll take a look at the leaderboard and remind you guys of what's really happened. The last 8 games and the last 8 games have been nothing short of amazing, to be honest, Kobo.
100%. It's been a few teams running away with things, but we will start you guys from the beginnings, and we'll talk about why we're here and what's happening here tonight. We'll have a look at the format. If you weren't here for the last 2 nights, we are currently playing what's on the right side of your screen. We're playing a PUBG Player Super Cup, which means this is sort of the final stage of this circuit of 2 weeks. Each week, everybody that wants to gets to sign up and play the scrims in green, and then the top X teams, it depends a little bit on how many teams are already qualified, but the top teams from the scrims qualified to the PUBG Players Cup. And we've casted 2 of those in the last, I think, 3 weeks. And then the top 8 from each Super Cup has made it here tonight, Felix.
Yeah. Exciting times. It's been the same as it has been for the Master Cup that we've seen in terms of qualification. So just to give you guys a heads up once more, I know there's plenty of people in the chat like coming in each day. Is this TPP? What's really happening? What's this whole new tournament format? Who's really playing? How do you get there? It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. You'll find the links in the description. Sign up to the scrims that you can see on your screen right here. Anyone can sign up. Literally, you guys at home, if you have a set group of people, or even if you don't necessarily, just go out and search some that you want to maybe even participate and try a tournament like this, try esports settings and so on and so forth. You can sign up, you can get into these streams, and maybe you can qualify to one of the cups and be featured on a stream like this. It's not that far-fetched. If you play TPP, if you're into the game, you play it every day, maybe every other day even, you might find yourself with a chance. You might find yourself with a chance, so go ahead and try it out.
Might find yourself playing for some money. Might find yourself playing for $5,000 like we are tonight. And this is the prize pool split, so you can see the first few teams are walking away with some real money here. And if you're not in the top 8, you'll get to chalk up, the experience and whatnot, the practice. But if you are in that top 8, especially if you're looking at a first or a second place, this is some pretty solid lunch money. This is pretty good for the top teams here. And I can guarantee you, even as a regional partner, even if you're playing global events, taking almost $2,000 home, that's a super nice sort of cash injection for these players. So love to see that, and excited to see who takes it away tonight.
Absolutely, and once again, be reminded, even the partner teams don't get invited into anything. This is rather fair, I think, for everyone involved. You still have to qualify even as a partner team in these cups that we've seen in the weekends throughout the last 2 weeks. So no one really gets gifted anything. This isn't like a PGS or anything else, where you have to play for the entirety of the year. You can literally get into this any day of the week, right? Any other week you can go in, go qualify, and participate in these tournaments. So once again, be reminded, this is open to everyone. Go ahead and sign up.
And there's a thing as well, right? We're playing 4 scrims a week. But the team is currently in third, GG, the Gaming Gladiators. They only played 3 this week, you know? They didn't even make it to all 4, and they still qualified, or maybe not this week, but the week that led up to this. They have qualified with even less than that, so you don't have to show up every single day. You don't even have to show up with the same people. You can have a different squad in the scrims, and be a little bit flexible, because not everybody has time to play 4 evenings in the week, right? So solid stuff if you want to get into PUBG Esports. We are currently on the third day of the entire tournament, which is the last day. So we're going to be playing the last 4 games tonight. And we're currently going to watch a GG win, which was, I think, the only one they've been able to clinch out so far. But we're going to have a look at the leaderboard in a bit. I already spoiled, you know, 3rd place for GG. If you saw the placements there on the prize pool graphics, that was the current placements as well. But that is in no way the final placements. We still have 4 more games, and a lot of things can happen. Yeah.
We saw 100 ADR with a really good performance as well. A team that came in through the qualifiers as well, obviously, not a part of the team. Super good performance, a lot of individual plays in general throughout the last 2 days that we've seen. I think this has kind of been the story of this Super Cup, to be honest. Individual plays, and that's really, really nice to see. We saw amazing nades, like incredible nades, not only from Dante, from Brexco as well. You can see in the background right now. We saw incredible plays from Ascend in particular, and I already spoiled it. I'm a little bit biased here, obviously. I think you might be to a tiny degree as well. We love to see them win. We haven't in a long, long time. And yeah, they've performed amazing. They've performed nothing short of amazing. They are ahead by just about 20 points, which is quite a big difference now, comparison to the second place, especially if you remember that it is only 4 games to go. This has been one of the most ridiculous individual plays. We talk about individual plays. He dodges not 1, not 2, he dodges 3 cars, and he makes it out alive, and they win the team fight off the back of that. So incredible scenes coming out from Fairy Tail and Eternal Fire in that fight. It's yeah, incredible. Just in general, like if you haven't watched these games, generally, I'm saying that quite often, but if you haven't watched these games, go back, watch the clips at the very least. You'll find lots of amazing individual plays.
100%. This has been tons of clutches, tons of individual plays, tons of crazy stuff happening as well, right? The nades we saw and the mortars we've seen and all that kind of stuff. So it's been wild. It's been amazing. But we don't want to delay you any further. There's the leaderboard. Coming into tonight, Ascend 20 points ahead of Win or Die in 2nd place. That's a big feat for Win or Die to catch that up. That's going to be the story we're looking out for tonight. And then the Gaming Gladiators, 15 more points behind. And basically, right after the Gaming Gladiators, it gets super tight.
Yeah, so once again, we have 4 more games to go. Ascend right now, 95, Win or Die 75, 60. So you can see the drop-off is quite big. We'll have a whole skirmish around the top 8, but not necessarily around the top 3. So we'll have to take a look at Ascend, Win or Die, Gaming Gladiators, at least when it comes to the podium finishes tonight. Faceland still got a chance to make their way into the top 3 as well. We'll see how that goes after the very first game of it. We will start in just a matter of seconds, but that's the current scoreboard going to the last 4 games, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have the same structure as we did the last 2 days. So we'll start with Miramar.
Starting with Miramar, we have a plane in the air. We have the players landing already. And we are kicking it off tonight. We keep the breaks short. We keep the yapping short in between the games because we know we're already talking to you throughout the entirety of the evening. So there you go. Players already out. Ascend out of the plane in the first few seconds. And interestingly enough, remember yesterday, Montenuevo was free and that southeastern side was super crowded, Felix. Yeah. Belief has made the adjustment. They've realized this is a free spot. This is a great spot. They get themselves a location and they get themselves a nice entry to make their way into zone.
Yeah, not really surprising. You said yesterday as well, you don't expect that to stay the same. Pretty good shots coming out here by Schiller, who's playing again once more today. Once again, usually it's easy 4, obviously, in that lineup, but he's been a stand, and he's had a couple of pretty great scenarios yesterday. We saw it in the highlights as well. A 1v2 in the very early stages of Erengel, for example. This time around, unfortunately, doesn't start off quite the same way. But yeah, so a little bit of a difference here in terms of the drop spots coming into day 3. Not too big of a problem, though, for anyone else that's kind of started off this playing path. Very fair playing path as well. Everyone could kind of get the spot that they really wanted. I mean, Faceland down south, Win or Die all around St. Martin, obviously. You can see Fairy Tail on the northern split there. So generally, I think a really good circle for a lot of these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. This is one of the circles. If you're an EMEA team, if you're an EMEA fan, you're basically looking at Twisted Minds and how they're going to play the circle most of the time, right? Now seeing 9 away, a team that's been rather struggling, I would say, in this tournament. having the pole position here and getting to figure out what they want to play out of this compound, out of Power Grid is interesting. And then on the other side, we have a team like Go Next that as well. They've won a game, but haven't done that much else. So they're also a team that's now in a very good position and has to kind of show us that they can use these positions. We have been very, very impressed by some of the teams at the top, right? But we have also been a little disappointed by some of the teams at the bottom. Like, for example, a Slam G, like a 9away. They still have a whole day to show that they can mess with the best.
9away now. Talking about them. They'll have to play with the stand-in today as well. Getting real close to Go Next, who's, I think, tried that trap once before. Didn't quite work out in terms of timing. But this time around it might. And this is such a dangerous spot. Remember, we're playing TPP right now, so Pydaros has got plenty of information now that 9away obviously has no way of getting. They have no idea that they're being crept upon. He's got a Panzerfaust in his back pocket as well. I mean, that's just a ridiculous setup to fight against. 9away, any second now, might be in deep trouble.
This is something we've seen a lot, especially around the center compounds, right? Players walking up quite early, trying to go for these early positions, trying to go for the early compounds. Go Next now. Yeah, they walked up. Yeah, they got themselves in position. I'm not sure how they're going to convert this now. Pydaros is just going to keep on looking, hoping somebody walks out of that shack into the open and he can take the opening knock. But they've also given enough time for 9away to clear the whole compound and to get themselves situated. So if they never get too greedy here and they never fully start looting that side, there's a chance this never works out. And this was a chance to get the frag, but Pydaros does not connect at all. Now the game's up. Kadel knows what's going on. And as was about to say, it's going to be impossible for them to make the entry, but Kadel does not respect the second player to exist at all. He's been subbed in, by the way. He's a sub for that team, so they're unfortunately suffering the roster change there. Doesn't expect it at all, gets called completely.
Yeah, gets taken down. Couldn't really expect that angle. And that's that's the danger. That's you know what differentiates FPP just a tiny bit from TPP, right? You have you have to think differently now. If you really make that step out of the compound. Someone sees you down the ridge line. You have no way of knowing he's there. He knows you're there. And just a quick peek like that is going to take you down. So great stuff coming out from Go Next. Utilizing that advantage, the situation change to the best of their ability. In FPP, usually the team up on the high ground has the advantage. This time around is, turned upside down. So you'll have to see it. They're going with the flow. They're going with the meta. Whatever's being played, they adapt.
Yeah, again, it's only been more reinforced. I think that early sending players very early to the high prior compounds, either to rat or to claim the compound and posture up, right? Pufferfish is what the NA region calls it, where you're just shooting the air, just letting everybody know that you're there. That meta has been a thing in FPP, and it's gotten more extreme in FPP recently. But in TPP, I think players and teams are valuing it even more. Compounds tend to be a little easier to defend. So the players are even more just relying on getting them early, making sure they lock them in, and making sure nobody else ever contests for them. So we see that there from Go Next, and it works out beautifully.
Ricardo's still not without trouble, though. Really surprised Go Next is still kind of looking for this. I mean, they've had a great early game. They've essentially, I wouldn't say wasted, they've got the hit point, but they have spent a long time now in the early stages of getting that player up towards the northern side of things, like against 9away, of really springing that trap, which almost wouldn't have worked anyways, but it did. So I'm kind of expecting them to just take the rest of the time. Like, you've got everything you need in the early game, like just mood up and push yourself in a good spot for phase one, but they don't want to do that, looking for more, and so is Eternal Fire. Takes down first player of Bushido, but there's probably more to come. I think you can probably expect more players being in that compound, potentially able to surround them. Celtic's got a pretty good idea of what's coming towards him, but he's got no way of escaping this.
No way of getting out. Panzerfaust on the other side. There's a bit of third-party fire coming in, at least into the Infernal Fire player holding from the high ground, but Crossbear's position here might actually be really tricky for Eternal Fire. It's quite hard to traverse this compound, and yes, they've got more numbers in the compound, but Bushido has all the players around the compound, right? You see Shilla there taking more and more damage continuously, being pinned down. Crossberg now looking as well. Celtic, he has a nade. Crossberg has one as well. If they can land them, if they can pinpoint these positions, which the players on the outside of the compound are already doing, this could be troublesome for Eternal Fire.
Just looking for that first mistake from Eternal Fire. As soon as just one player steps around one of these buildings in front of him, he might have a pretty good shot at it, but Eternal Fire knows this obviously as well. So they're being careful themselves. And maybe, just maybe now he's been spotted. He threw that nade. It's not a bad nade whatsoever, but due to the fact that Eternal Fire was already in each of these buildings, they spotted that out really, really quickly. Now he has to walk away. Yeah, I mean, the angles are just too good for Eternal Fire, and especially that Panzer Faust. I don't know if they know about it, but if they don't, that's even worse. It's so dangerous. So whatever close range fight they would have had here, they probably would have lost it. Good scouting position as well from the Mad. He's kind of the key in that entire fight.
Yeah, both of the teams just using the off angle, the far range players very effectively to figure out what's going on there, and eventually Bushido decides to cut the losses, right? Get away from it, reposition. But it costs them a lot. This is not just losing the player, right? They're losing a whole lot of space, and they're giving a whole lot of space to a team next to them. So it's something I'll absolutely yap to death about how great this kill is actually for Eternal Fire, especially if the zone ends anywhere around Bushido. Not only having that frag in the pocket, but knowing that there's a 3-man around you, they tend to take less space, they're more vulnerable to breaches. There's tons of avenues that open up when you know that our team is weakened, and that might get nullified because the circle might go to the complete opposite side of the map. But if it doesn't, it's going to be super interesting.
Gonex still looking for it. I'm so surprised. I really would have expected them to just get out of the city as soon as they can. Now the first headshot comes in, actually. I wonder who that one was from. And remind yourselves, 10 seconds until phase 1 closes. So there's there's been limited time now to really set yourself up for phase 2 for them. I don't think they will either. I mean, they're still in the safe zone, obviously, but
yeah,
don't have any real pressure. But still, I mean, they would have had prior on almost anything. Even after their first initial skirmish, they were set up pretty well. And, okay, never mind me. Now I understand. Okay, the rest of the players are towards the northern hill, so I thought it were someone towards the west. That totally makes sense. Never mind me. I'll take it all back. Great play coming in from Go Next. Denying 100 ADR, a couple of rotation options and pressuring them, delaying their timing. And still having prior on towards one of the best spots here towards the southern side of things. So Go Next. Great spot, nevertheless, and a first frag as well.
Big spot as well, because they can get that second compound here, right? So they have gotten the information about that second compound. They have gotten that under control the entire time. So now they can backfill it and have 2 different approaches to the circle, which, if we're being honest, it's quite likely to end somewhere around the power grid area. It can still go all the way east as well, but the rocks will sort of ferry it very often towards that power grid area. And they have 2 very nice avenues of approach to it. Now, they have to be a little careful because there's an EP landing on their heads here. Pydaros is not the one that's being EP'd, but the other 2 have to be really careful. I think Belief is flying into them, and look at Max. He has absolutely no idea. Now the game is finally up, but it's too late. Hope already nails him. They've already got one in the compound. This ain't looking good.
No, and I think Apocalyptus has unfortunately, he's tried to repark the vehicle, and I think he just trapped himself right there. I think even if it... Never mind, okay, never mind. I thought there was another vehicle just right behind him. Might have misremembered that. Either way, I think he's kind of trapped here. The rest of his teammates has to chime in. They're looking to go for the rest, actually. That's crazy. Go Next wants to fight for this. They would have had a prior spot down south either way, but very understandably so. They don't want to give up that player, even though it kind of seemed like there wasn't really a chance they were going to bring this back just based off of timing, but Belief isn't really fast enough. Megs now goes down, but so is Tabby, who's been found by Apocalypto. That brings him back to a 3-on-3. Already a very dangerous fight for both teams now going into this, especially the angles that Belief have.
They both instantly lose a member as well, right? The blue zone does the trick against Max, and I understand Go Next grouping here. I think the compound is valuable enough, and trying to keep numbers up is valuable enough. Just really stings for them that they don't get Max back on his feet. If this fight would have happened with Max being res, they would be really, really happy about this, and they would now be looking to clear Tartarin out, because it's so hard for the rest of Belief to actually group up here, right? It's really hard for them to make the cross down from the rock into the compound, so Belief or Go Next should always have numbers advantage in the compound. That being said, though, they don't seem to have an amazing idea of where this player is. They seem to have a rough idea, but Pydaros getting the blue zone in is going to do a little bit of damage, maybe. but very easily healed through. So if they don't follow up on this blue zone, it's almost a bit of a waste here.
Yeah. Not perfect either way for both of these teams. Gonna be really tough for Belief to get out of this position as well now. They cannot, the player down low, have to commit to this fight now, and as soon as Tattering gets spotted out inside the compound, as soon as that fight starts, they can't really support them. They really can't. They have to cross that big open distance, and only one player to see it for them to go down almost immediately. There's almost no cover on that run. Really tough to support Tattering at this point. But who knows? Maybe even a 2v1 is likely at this point. I mean, he can do it. I mean, it's close quarters in some of these buildings. I've seen crazier things. Maybe Tattering kind of wants to fight this as well. He's not known at the moment. He's not doing a single step. He doesn't want to give away his position. So they might walk into him blindly. I mean, they've got some kind of idea that they're not being stupid about this. They realize that that's most likely what he's doing. But still, his position is not known, and that makes it a whole lot more tricky.
Always going to be tricky, especially in third person, right? Now they're pulling back from it because they have seen the zone, right? Phase 3 has come on in. It's gone northwest, and you can see big migrations coming out of everywhere. James finds one on the rotation, but gets caught in the return as he does get taken out by Ansley. Fairy Tail full breaching into Eternal Fire. Eternal Fire was the EP team as well, so not really a breach, but an unexpected outcome for them. Circle has gone northwest. And with Rock still being in play, that means we are ending around that power grid, maybe north of power grid, and all the teams know it as well, and all of them are competing for these positions. Eternal Fire, though, says hello, instantly takes 2, takes 3, and their EP has already paid off so much. Even if they go out here, I think they've just picked up 6 frags. Yeah, good start to the game.
Wow, oh, if you would have picked up that frag, I think that would have been
quick
another one immediately on the board, but, well, GG seems to be the last one to reach, and the last one to kind of stay alive in the entire skirmish as well. Winner Die, I think, tried to do the exact same rotation just there. Maybe stop a little bit earlier, but didn't work out either. It's just too many angles, too many players already focusing on it, and it's been a really late rotation, interestingly enough. The latest one out of all the teams to try to go for this dip that initially really worked out, right? I mean, it's GG now coming out on top. And we'll be staying alive in that dip for just a tiny bit longer, but look how much bodies they have to loot now. They've got utility for days, essentially. So.
Yeah.
In the end, it works out. Works out in a really great fashion, actually. Now, in terms of survivability, they've got a great spot and a lot of utility to kind of play the dip, which once again isn't an easy dip to play. Not this early, at least.
They got the utility for fight, and if the zone does go really badly, they also got 17 bodies to blue heal, right? So they can pick up a ton. Fix now taking that fight for phase, going aggressive as well, even though Mexi's knocked because they have the overview from far from Gustav. And he hears the cars driving away. Here's ADR repositioning, and he goes for the res. This fight still hasn't been resolved. Paidaro's now trying to make a move, trying to get out of that compound, opening up the angles, getting into the zone already, as the rest of the team's still holding out. But a fight southwest sees Foot under the hands of Slam G, and it ain't looking that hot for Foot.
Not really. Rook's got a great angle on them. He's has to be careful now. 8C's now closing the distance, trying to get up to the ridge line, but he's been spotted out, or at least he's been hurt. But 8C still wins that duel. That's crazy. 8C takes down Lurix. This is such a big turnaround. If they would have lost that fight, it would have been over for Esports right then and there. Too many angles down the remaining players. But they do make it happen, and 8C might have just let his team get away with that fight here. By the looks of it, everyone's been revived. Foot Esports is actually kind of fine with this one. I mean, it's phase 4. It doesn't hurt too much yet. They might even want to wait for the rest of the players to come in and pick up these kill points. Unfortunately, though, Boostig is repositioned, takes Sanvad from the very top of the mountain. And that's a very heavy hit to go on, unfortunately, now for Foot Esports. Makes it a little bit more tough now for Pixelli to get in as well.
That's a big name to take down. And it's not going to go out clean for either side. Those nades are looking good onto Artix. You can see he's down to 1 HP. Trying to find cover. Pixelic nails him with the M249.
Okay.
No problem at all. Connects the headshot. The man's a beast with LMGs. Second only to Itzchris. But now he's got to get away from this. And he's taking phase 4 blue. He's going out here as well. So the shots are landing. Mogore, Boostic, the young guns, the young crack kids are nailing the shots onto Foot right now. And yeah, while both of them are not coming out cleanly, so far, it's 4 frags for Slam G, and I think only 2 for Foot.
Boostig's looking for more. I mean, he's very well known for his individual skill. In a position like this, that's just... I mean, that's just a dream for Boostig at this point. That's legitimately the dream for Boostig, right? Top of building. You've got all the peaks you can potentially think of. You've got the 2 players in front of you that need to push you as well, right? There's no way around this. I don't think FUT Esports has really got a lot of playing room towards the northern side of things. I think that the sidelines are pretty bad against them. Even though I don't see anyone on the minimap right now, I can imagine the sidelines just being a little bit too tough and them wanting to take this fight too. But Bruce's position should be too strong. However, 80 is close distance now. He's found the correct pathing to kind of get close to that ridge line. He might even be nade range any second now. Boostik hasn't really repositioned. He might be taken down with this one. Yeah, that's exactly what 80's doing. That's a brilliant nade right there. Unfortunately, he searches him in the building, which is weird because he must have known Boostik was on top of the building. Next one goes up top, though. Let's see if it hits. Would have been perfect. Oh, my goodness. If he would have thrown the first one there, which I don't understand why he didn't, Boostik would have gone down.
Could have been the difference maker. The circle has given them a little bit more time for this fight as well. It's gone straight south, as expected, away from the mountains in the north. So power grid dead center, and these shanties still sort of on the edge, still lingering, still okay. This fight continues on for a bit longer. These teams can coexist as well. They don't have to conclude this fight, and I think they might not. Ascend on the other side. They're on the north side of the circle. They're out of the circle, and they have to fight their way on in. So they are now starting to take these shots. They're now starting to take these engagements. And they are starting to send it across the road. So that's the first place team. That's a team we definitely have our eyes on. And they are moving into this phase 4 now.
Long range shots from 9 away. And they'll be kicking themselves as well. If you remember back to phase 1 and how they lost the first player, despite being in such a prio spot that's gotta hurt themselves, right? If they would have had 4 players up right now, right this very second, they could have made so many more moves already up until this point. That would have potentially secured them a couple of points already. And they're still in like the best spots, essentially, in the entirety of your circle. Unfortunate for 9 away. Let's take a look at how Ascend managed this northern side. They will need to take out the competition. There's no coexisting on this northern side. And they're doing a good job with that, even though Kalyakai has been taken out already. They found a frag as well against Baldini, and they're looking for the second one. That's a good nade. It's going to take him down to just about 10 HP with a couple of shots off the back of that. But also, Itzchris has just been knocked. I'm not sure how Winkley found the angle on that one, but Itzchris has been set down with a headshot. And the M4, as more nades are raining in. There's a nade coming back at it, and this might be really dangerous now for Itzchris. Almost takes quite good enough just yet. They need to finish this fight. What's happening? Winkley takes down Pains as well, and just like that, it's down to a 1v1. Can he make the impossible happen? They're 20 points up front. Now finally Brex is going to shut him down, but not without so much casualties coming in. I mean, it's enough even for Freeside to rethink their approach on this edge. They are now cleaning up this fight that obviously Baldini has made so tough for Ascend. And look at this, just like that. First place team goes out, 11th place. And that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be a very happy win or die, actually, in the distance. Because they're realizing now they can close the distance.
Big points. Now up for grabs for everybody in the lobby. Try and continue the approach towards Ascend. Believe still alive. One player. Stuck in the blue behind FaZe Clan. Win or Die actually in a reasonable position there on that eastern edge. We saw them on the minimap when Ascend was getting taken out. GG still hanging out as well. Remember, GG was 3rd place before this game, so them in a center dip here with, I think, 3 frags already picked up is nice news for them as well. Not a whole lot of teams that stayed clean in this, Felix. Not a whole lot of 4-man teams, honestly. I think Go Next is breaching on in there. FaZe is a 3-man. GG is a 3-man. Win or Die is a 3-man. The only 4-man I can see is Freeside, and they are actually on their northern side with tons of space here.
Yeah. But even the ton of space isn't really that great. Like, the sightlines are really bad against 9 away. And you've got Win or Die with a lot of space, even more space, arguably, because of the fact that they can play a lot better ridge lines towards the east of it. So, I think they're actually in big trouble now. I think they will have to engage Win or Die sooner or later. I don't think they're going to breach or have a chance of breaching power grid area. I think that's the winning play anyways. So, I want to see them engage Win or Die rather sooner than later. That's got to be the winning play in this one. And I think FaZe Clan is kind of a similar struggle. They're trying to branch out, trying to get a little bit more space here. There is available space, for one, but with this new circle, I don't even matter that much. Goes into power grid very, very deep. That's a surprising shift to me.
been crazy shifts for Power Grid. Some of them water shifts, some of them predictable, other ones not so much. Freeside Mortar comes in. I expect that might be going towards GG, but you could tell Mexi was looking up a bit there, wondering if that was actually going at him. Quickly realizes, no, that is going to the GG dip. Luckily enough for GG, they have so much space, they can just fall away from it. Levante actually did make the cross and is now already looking to cross back, now that that position's been cleared. Win or die on the run. They might know, yes, we have to take this fight, but they might have also just heard that Mortar, Felix, and realized, okay, that team's a little bit busy. They're looking up into the skies. They don't have the entire audio cover. They're a little bit distraught. Maybe this is our time to go fishing for kills, looking for engagements, and they will be ready now. Freeside is coming for the breach, and Win or Die might just be ready to look over the shoulder and completely demolish both of these teams.
Yeah, look at this. Breach comes in. Mava gets one, but gets immediately traded. GG still in the driving seat here on this breach, but I mean, look at this. The real winner here is Win or Die. They can just look across the ridge line, be thank you for breaching this one. That's as easy as it gets, really. They can't even cross the distance toward GG all the way. They're just getting shot out left, right, and center. Leij now finishes off Freeside. 4 players gone, just like that. Blink of a moment, and they're wiped off the map. No chance whatsoever to really do it. But I might have said this before. This is really realistically the only play they could have done, and I respect it as well. If that breach works out, it's good. If it doesn't, obviously that's the outcome we've seen right here. You at least tried.
Rough for Win or Die as well. They were looking like they were able to just take that completely, right? But in the end, they do get knocked in the process, and FaZe starts pulling up on them, so they can't really benefit at all. And it's GG who gets to clean it up. Cappy now knocked against 9 away. 80 still looking to make things work in the 1v2. One player is knocked to his feet. They would love to take this fight over, because it does mean taking over Power Grid, or at least the northern side of it as well. But he's got to figure something out here. The push won't be easy, the approach won't be easy, and Cappy is bleeding further and further. That res is not on the cards at all. There's the first knock. There's a 1v1 now for 80. It's starting to get possible. And it's once again individual plays that have to make it work for Foot.
But he's in a great spot. 80's peeking around the ridge line. Up, down, up, down. He's still got flashes. Tried to pick a little bit more utility there, but he couldn't really find much. And 9 away, really surprising on how they play this. Like, there's no chance to engage 80, not in TPP, not this way, but he's trying to somehow save his teammate. These are great shots coming out from 80, almost takes him down. And I think he heard the connect right there on one of the bullets, so he sprays a little bit more. Still can't find him, though. He didn't go for the flash, so player is still alive just behind the smokes. 2 flashes now coming in. He wants to engage this. Goes into first person, shoots into the smoke. Knows he's there. There's a foldable sheet in the middle of it as well. I think that might have just saved him. But he keeps on trying, keeps on looking for him. Now the smoke is dissipated all the way. And even the flash is not going to be able to really give him the duel that he's looking for. So desperately, he peeks around the corner, knows he's behind the door. He heard him, but he doesn't want to go through it just yet. That's TPP for you. It's such a dangerous fight. Who's going to pre-fire better? And AT's still looking for it. He's got one more flash. A flash against him, though, but he closes the door just in time. Great mechanics coming out from AT. Dodges that fight. Knows his flash is not going to matter too much. He's been flashed already, so he just backs off. Definitely the right play in this scenario. And delays it for just a tiny second longer.
It's not as easy as it looks either. He completely disengages there while blind, right? He doesn't see what we're seeing, but he maneuvers around these machines out of the rooms. No problem at all, while being flashed as well. Now, gets a bit more pressure in with a blue zone. Looks for more util on the body as well. Finds a shotgun instead. Oh. And he's going to use that to take the fight. Switches guns for ammo. But he is going to walk up these stairs here in a matter of seconds. Flashbang comes out. Push will come out. There's a chance here for the angle, but look at that. Shotgun 1-2. The first one doesn't do the job. But in the end, it is 80 cleaning up. 3 frags for him. 750 damage, Felix.
That's insane. 80's got one hell of a game for sure. And 750 damage with only 3 frags, so to speak. So he's done a lot for his team, just in terms of supporting, just in terms of damage. Wearing out these Western helmets on the opposing side. So, good stuff. And then meanwhile, though, it's been GG who's kind of creeping up on his building. They've realized this fight has been going on for far too long. And they want to get a piece of the action as well. But little do they know, 80's on a roll right now. So I'd be scared of engaging him at this point. 2 players, Leij and Levante. We've seen Levante do crazy things already in this series. What more can they do? He's got the shotgun. 1 flash comes in. They've got somewhat of an idea where he's playing. But they're taking a lot of blue zone damage here. Leij is down to 58 HP. He has to make this work. Maybe his teammate has to. But 80 doesn't even realize he's going the right side around. And he's been taken out just like that. That was an anticlimactic finish, to be honest. But Either way, GG make it work. 4 frags, I think. Almost 4 frags now on Levante again. As they plow through that building. One more team being eliminated, down to the top 5 now.
Second time we see that, right? We see a player trying to abuse the camera and getting completely off guard during it. I think it's the util throw that takes away the audio, and then they're trying to third party or third person one way, and they actually just get pushed the other way. So doesn't work out for 80 there. I thought he had good chances with the shotgun, but gets caught off. Still, putting in a ton of work for Foot, keeping them relevant in this game. Win or Die and GG are both in the top 5 here. They are both on the chase, right behind Ascend. Win or Die is on 7 elims already as well. And GG, yes, they couldn't keep control of their dip, but they just gave it up, rotated out of it, and took points elsewhere. So both of them looking really strong here and looking to make this evening very exciting.
Most definitely. More shots now coming in from Presenti. They've got a really good idea. They know, I think they know exactly where Larish is, actually. Oh my lord, that's 2, 3, maybe even 4 blue zone nades right there. I think I counted 3 at the very least. And then off the back of that, Presenti also fights Levante. Great stuff coming out from Win or Die. And I've been saying this very early on, like Win or Die with the position they had, definitely in the driving seat. The most amount of space, the most amount of ability, playmaking ability as well. Just off the back of the ridgelines that they were holding. And really not able to get pushed whatsoever in TPP, like not in the positions they play. And also great timing on their part as well, know exactly when to engage. We saw the GG fight earlier on the eastern side when they get breached. Got a couple of frags there, moving on further towards Power Grid, get a couple of frags there. So far they're playing this one really cleanly. Yes, they lost Halamai by it, I'm not sure how it happened. But apart from this, it's just been textbook play coming in from Win or Die. They've made the most out of their position.
It's gonna get interesting now, right? They have a good position. They have 3 gear. They have an arm. They're fully warmed up and confident as well. They will have to move next circle here. Yes, FaZe doesn't look super hot right now. But on that next circle, both these teams will have to move in towards the start, towards Power Grid, towards an ADR that's just holding down the warehouse for quite a while now, has had a lot of time to set up. So both of these teams will have significant challenges to overcome. Oof. And it won't be easy. 5 seconds, and then we are moving. You can see the star on the minimap. Hickses is in firm control. The other ADR player is picking up a drop as well. And then you have Tartarin just sneaking away in the distance.
Love to see it. AWM in Phase 9. You love and hate to see it at the same time because you love to see an AWM. It doesn't happen that often, but also it's Phase 9, so you can't really make use of it that much anymore. But be that as it may, whether fact still stands, everyone has to make their way inside now. When guys can be the first teams that have to move out into the open. Presenti is already close the distance, and out of ADR, luckily for them, is only a 2-man at the moment. They're already using the bulk of their utility. I suppose at the very least, I don't think they have a lot of utility in there. I don't think they've fought much. I don't think they've got a lot of buddies to loot. First couple nades already thrown out. That's a little bit too early for my liking, and unfortunately they won't find anything with it either. Now it's going to be down to just winning the close range duels. Akimbo does exactly that. Takes down one. Hickses takes down Fex on the other side of things as well. They're cleaning up this phase without any kind of help, which is ridiculous to think about. Gustav now chimes in from the backline. Dante gets taken down. Presenti just about covers himself with a shield. But I think he has another player coming just around the corner. Akin peeks around it, gets the flushes. No one still hits the headshot though. This is great mechanics coming in from Akin. And he brings it back to a 2-on-3.
2-on-3 now, phasing good spots here. The foldable shield from Presenti is now going to be used by ADR to make this more doable. But I see 2 mollies there, and I see that door being mollied off in a matter of seconds. Not going to be easy to move out of the warehouse now. They only have 1 single door that's left. But the question is, when do they even move on out? No angles throughout the top are being possible for ADR right now. FaZe, power in numbers, but they don't have the drop. They do have to move across the open here quite a bit. This can equalize very, very quickly, especially with a cream and a red dot MK.
Trying to delay this as much as possible, but I think the later they go out, the tougher it's going to get. Akeem somehow still gets it. How did that happen? But I think, yeah, obviously with the angles just being a tiny bit too much and Mexi getting a knock as well, this is not going to get turned around whatsoever. For a tiny second there, I thought maybe they can turn it around. But FaZe Clan, solid as always, is going to be able to finish off this one. The first map does go the way of FaZe Clan. We talked about the overall leaderboard of things. They were just around that 60-point mark, so they needed a big game. This is it, though. This is it. Another game like this, and they'll catch up to Ascend in no time.
And not only them, everybody else in the lobby as well, right? That was a good game for GG, and that was a good game for Win or Die.
Oh, yeah.
So the leaderboard has just gotten a whole lot more spicy. It's gotten a whole lot closer, more interesting. I don't know where ADR stands after this game, but they were decent as well. I think they were 4th place. Okay, so 4th place got a 2nd, 5th place got a 3rd, 2nd place got a 3rd. Yeah, a 5th place got a 1st. Jesus, numbers are hard. Basically, everybody in the top, everybody in the top 5 performed massively, except for the team in 1st place. So this is gonna get super, super interesting. It's gonna get super close, and I love to see it. I thought almost ADR had it there in the end, just because that MK and the swing coming out of Akeem, right? But FaZe keep it together, just barely. What
a shot here, by the way, from Exotic. I want to see this on Twitter. Like, Exotic, if you're listening right now, if you're in the chat, like, post this on Twitter, because I don't think you expected to take him down like that. That's a ridiculous shot. And 249 peeks around it. I mean, I felt like he was unscoping before he even had the frag. Like, that's what it seemed like. I gotta rewatch this, but that's what it felt like. I don't think he expected to get that frag, and he still did. We have it again, 8C with huge clutches as well. And yeah, this reminds me of Flex on Miramar for sure. Yeah, but I think he might have been flashed there, actually. I think 8C might have still been flashed. So I can understand that one a tiny bit more. Tough to spot sometimes whether or not someone's flash, and here in the end, Win or Die. Playing it really, really well until that final breach towards the warehouse was really needed, really came into play. And at that point, 180R just did a whole lot of resistance as well. I mean, great resistance, honestly. They kind of ruined the chance of Win or Die to do anything with this. Imagine the first one goes down immediately. It's the 3-1 inside the warehouse. They take him down, and it's suddenly just Win or Die against FaZe Clan. That would have been the outcome. I expected it to happen as well. But, I mean, there's so many angles as well, right? You can get up on so many boxes. Also, you're kind of crossing an open field. You need enough smoke, enough utility. Just one flash can take down any one of these players. A nade off the back of that, and that's exactly what happened. It's going to make it so much tougher to have any survivability when you cross that distance to the warehouse. And yeah, tough road for Win or Die. But up until this point, I got to say it again. Up until this point, really great game coming out from Win or Die, playing it almost perfectly.
For sure. Maximizing points there, like you said, right? That push towards the warehouse is hard. Impressive stuff from ADR. They also take care of Belief in the south, right? They even clear that solo as well, and they also managed to knock FaZe at the same time that they're dealing with Win or Die, so impressive stuff from them. They would have been able to keep up numbers a little bit longer. Might have been enough. But I'll tell you what's not a little bit longer. This segment isn't for much longer, because we are going to a short break, and we'll have 3 more games for you, so don't go anywhere. We are back from the break. Game number 2 is almost ready for you guys. Game number 1 was, Mark always says explosive after every game, so that's just burned into my brain at this point. But it was a shake-up for the leaderboards. We had a situation before this game where we were saying, might be hard to catch up to Ascend today. It doesn't really look like that anymore, Alex.
No, we said 20 points is a whole lot. But we also said it's possible if Ascent struggles in the first game and everyone else catches up, and that's kind of exactly what happened, right? I mean, you talked about it after the first game. Win or Die having a great game. FaZe Clan having an amazing game, obviously, winning that one. 180 Yard doing a couple of points. GG even doing a couple of points in that dip that we've seen, and eliminating players all around them. And things change now. It's not 20 points anymore, not by a long shot, actually. Win or Die is up to 89. And this is already dangerous territory now. It's not even 10 points.
Yeah, 8 points for Win or Die, and then it's 16 for FaZe, 17 for ADR, 17 for GG. Those are the teams that are still, sorry, not 17, 27. There we are. Those are the teams that are still in contention. I think a little bit of a different story for FaZe, ADR, and GG, but for Win or Die, that's literally reachable in one game. So it will come down to the wire, it will get close, and Ascend has got to get back on track. They haven't been the most consistent team in this tournament, but they have already won Tagos. They have already shown us that they can do it. So game number 2, match number 10 of the entire tournament. We'll see what they're able to do.
We'll see in a couple of minutes. Ascend, as always, first team to go out here. 3 games only remaining. And even with a win right now, actually, now that I look back at the scoreboard, Ascend is still so far ahead to anyone else but Win or Die. It's going to need another great game. I mean, I said it as well, right? FaZe Clan doesn't only need 1 great game, they need 2 great games, but it's been a start at the very least. It's exactly the start they need. And it's maybe a start to a FaZe Sunday. Right? I haven't really said this, but it is a FaZe Sunday, and it is the first game they've already seen, and it's gone FaZe way. So we'll see what else happens. Good start though.
Good start for them. I'm not 100% if we're just seeing 3 Ascent players there. Am I blind, or is Pain's not in this one? Let me check. 64 players alive. Okay, he's got to be somewhere. Maybe disconnected right after jumping out. Maybe that's why we don't see him on the map. Maybe that's the thing, but it does say 64 players. So unless we have a coach subbing in and another team playing 5-man, you know, we should have Pain somewhere. And there it is. He is in the game, just momentarily disconnected. He will get back, and Ascend will be able to play as 4. That's a big difference maker. That would have been disaster for them, especially in a circle like this, where we don't really know where it's going to go yet. This could still go southeast or east, but they hold a lot of the cards here, right? So they will hold a lot of the choke points, a lot of the possibly fed compounds. They need Paints back on his feet ASAP, because they need to move early here. They can't afford to be late in a circle like this.
No, when you get the pry on something like this, you want to take it early. On the other side, we've seen it plenty of times as well. There's a sense, despite taking pry on something like this, they're not even going for it. They much rather just play the edge and set traps. You've seen this, I think, 2 days ago as well, where they sprung that trap against Belief, interestingly enough, on that northern rotate. So we might see something similar to this. So he is back in the game just now, but as you can see, his equipment is not up to standards just yet. It's going to need to be fast, but yeah, it might change the Ascent's gameplay here. They've struggled with a couple of disconnects actually in recent time. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Somehow it needs to be swapped out, is what I'm saying.
They need some tech support right now. They have Paints back, though, and they have Chris and Brex able to move very early. So they can pick compounds that they want here. They'll just have to, well, accept that part of the team will be a little bit later. That's not an unheard of strategy, though, in a situation like this, right? That's not crazy to see that some of them go early for the prior compounds and others stay looting for a longer time. GG right now, they're going quite aggressive. They are going past prior compounds, and EMEA might not just be aware that Katurkan is lurking, but it seems like they might just be okay. They might just go past this, but no, Layers is turning around. They might be breaching this. Katurkan has to get the hell out.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it in time, though. Exton's already a couple of shots. into the car. Somehow he makes it past the ridgeline. How is that possible? He's being chased though. But with his teammates in the distance, I don't think GG is going to be able to go for this one. And no, they're not. Only 2, maybe 3 shots actually hit him. Even though he started his car so very late. He's going to go and have another chance at this game. But yeah, that was really, really close. And good reaction as well from GG. I mean,
yeah.
Crazier than his late exit from the compound was actually GG's reaction. Immediately realizing, okay, we have a player in there.
Yeah.
Let's try and take him down before players. He's out of position. And we've got the timing down.
They spot him like somewhere lurking around that wall, right? And they instantly said, okay, this guy's hiding. This guy's probably alone. We can go for a punish. It almost works out. The shots don't always connect. They almost do. 80. We've seen him do crazy things last game. Now he is in the same situation Katurkan was in a second ago. But it's a 4v1 pull up and oh, the nade is disaster. Crazy. Takes out Stacy. The rest of Foot is in approach. They're going to look if they can do something about this. But Stacy already flushed by his own car. Foot's going to pull back, but that's a clean team kill from Freeside.
What a nade. I mean, you can't make that nade any more perfect. Unfortunately, just against your own player. And the way he flew down the ridgeline, that was something straight off of a comic book. But, man, is that unfortunate. Freeside. I respect it as well. I respect it so much. That aggression, that type of decision-making towards the end of the tournament where you know you need the big games. Totally understandable. Look at this. Oh, my word.
And now he flies.
What a perfect nade. Yeah, he got... I mean, obviously, the nade puts him out of the car, and that way he falls down the ridge on the entirety of the way because the car was mid-air when the net exploded. So that way he flew all the way down and didn't just get dropped out of it. So man, is that crazy. Unfortunate. That is, yeah, how unfortunate. Freeside though, at least they put their foot down. And at least they took out one of the players from Foot Esports. Might not matter for this tournament, but at least going forward now, you set yourself some type of reputation that's really important in a lobby like this as well.
Yeah, 100%. You can't be scared of the big dogs, and Foot Esports, then name-wise, absolutely a big dog, and then circle-wise, they're the Youngchong team, right? They're the team that gets to pick a lot of their prio here. But so you could respect them a lot, but it's good that they don't. And Ascend have Paints disconnected again. That's rough. That slows them down a whole lot. They have Itzchris and Kiliakai already in good compounds. Brex playing very, very late out of army base. But really, really sucks that they're playing the game as 3 for so long here, especially in a circle that could be massive for them. One good shift and they're in the best positions.
Yeah. It's going to slow them down so much. That's so unfortunate right now for Pain, especially in a tournament situation where it's not about getting second, third place, it's about staying in the driving seat. It's so important. Really hope Pain's going to get back ASAP. They've probably already messed up their timing. That's already changed their game plan for sure. We'll see how it works out. Believe, on the other hand, they found themselves a pretty good spot. Pretty early rotation as well, at least for a team like Believe. They've gone pretty straight to the forward, straight to the compounds that we've seen. That was definitely their wish in terms of positioning for phase 1. They're kind of gambling on a northwestern shift as well, which is understandable, right? You have prio on this specific compound, you take it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, if you look at the landmass here, right? Almost, I think 2/3 of the landmass, or maybe a bit less of that, are northwestern. But because the circle center always has to be on land, there's really only a handful circle centers for phase 2 that can be not, or that can fit on the southeastern and eastern edges. So the chances of this going northwest are maybe something like 70-80%. They are way, way higher than it looks right now. So teams committing for the northwestern side, teams committing for the center of that northwestern landmass, 100% the right call. And everybody else, everybody that's playing for the eastern or southern edges, they're understanding that they're playing the odds. They're understanding that they're playing for much lower possibility outcomes, or lower odds. But when they happen, then they're the only team that's in a good spot, right? So that the payoff for them is bigger, but they are definitely taking a gamble.
Who else takes a gamble? And that is FaZe. Hunting 9 away all the way through the map. That's ridiculous. Did he just hit a couple of shots in the second player there as well? Yeah. That's ridiculous, Maxi. What are you doing? They're now being obviously repelled by the rest of the teammates in the back, but That's a good drive already again, and this is what we said a little bit earlier, start of the game, in terms of reputation, right? You know, if you have a FaZe clan that close to you in the game, they're gonna hunt you. They're gonna push you away. They're gonna bully you to make sure you do not interfere. Unless you really want to take that fight, you do not interfere with their gameplay.
Yeah, you talked about getting a reputation. FaZe definitely has worked for that reputation. They are a little bit reckless. They're a little bit over-aggressive in these early games sometimes. But it also lets everybody else know, hey, these guys are not to be messed with, you know? Don't get too close. Don't show them any signs of weakness, or you might be the one getting pulled up on. If Mexi gets a knock there, then that team is getting pulled up on. So, tricky times if you're next to the FaZe clanners. And we are gonna see what they do in this next circle. They have now pulled out an EP, so has ADR. ADR has once again EP'd into Tego here, Felix. But they are quite early. They are quite committed very early. If the zone goes hard south here, you just saw ADR already flying to the northern side, right? And there's still 20 seconds left. So if the zone goes south, then ADR really has no time to react anymore. So they are extremely early here. FaZe is a little bit late, but ADR is quite early. Imagine a far southern shift, and imagine ADR parachuting from Shipyard, right? They have nowhere to go in that case. So they have to hope that this circle goes north, northwest. This is about as far south as it can go. And they now have to hot drop something or land in a field. So a little bit punished by timing this one very aggressively, I think.
Yeah, definitely not the perfect timing for them. We'll see if it works out. They definitely, after seeing that shift, immediately exited through as far south as they potentially can. But yeah, this is the problem now, right? You're dropping down at slow speeds. You might be shot out, might lose a player for absolutely nothing. They were kind of fortunate there that it was only essentially 2 players from Foot Esports having an angle on this, but could have gotten a whole lot worse. And
yeah, there it is.
Yeah, look at this. We'll now lose the first player off the back of that. So really not working out well for them. This is going to work out perfectly for Ascent now, though. Since we know 100DI is one of the big competition now just below them. I know that the competition that obviously still is win or die. Let's be realistic about this. But it's still going to be a little bit... Put up a small smile at least into their faces.
A small smile in the sea of tears that is going on in this Ascent right now with that far southern shift, right? They were far north hoping to get any of the normal shifts. And they are now looking at a possible south ending, right? It's very likely to still go north. But they have to just respect the possibility at this point that it also could go south. So is Bushido already sending for the field. Maybe trying to play the bridges. Maybe trying to just breach into Yongchong here. It's a classic Bushido play, right? It's a classic send middle breach something. But it's going to work out perfectly here because not a lot of cities are occupied here. The northwest is occupied by Go Next. And Baldini has a tiny bit of space on the south. But this city was reasonably free, and Bushido just cruises on in and says, okay, sure, like, we don't mind. We'll take a center spot for free.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, they must have expected at least a little bit of resistance there, but they even barely got shot on any of that rotation. So, yeah, free essentially. Great stuff coming out from them. Whether or not they must have known or whether or not it was just a risky drive scout, I at least will never know, but works out, and Bushido just like that finds themselves in a really good spot to work now into phase 3, potentially even phase 4. If this goes north, even better. We know how important some of these city positions will be later on. We've seen this end all around this city plenty of times as well, and yeah, sometimes you'll even get a couple of frags for free because teams will do the exact same that Bushido has just done in phase 2.
For sure. That's Ascend in classic Ascend fashion now. Brex and the glider. I was almost hoping they would engage on that fight, right? They got a knock there onto Freeside. Keely was looking to see if he could get any more. And they know that Freeside is 2 as well. Now Brex is going to see that absolute mess that is going on with ADR on the bridges. He's going to call that out to his team. He's going to realize, okay, we have some space here. We can play into here. And if it goes south, maybe then we just go kill ADR, right? That is always a possibility. So they're sort of lining up different possibilities for whatever to do in this zone. Which one they'll end up taking, we don't know yet, but they probably don't know yet, depending on where the circle shifts. There is a ton of teams on this map, though, Felix, that are playing the southern side and that are hoping that this somehow goes south. I don't think the chances are great. I think these are much worse than they look like if you just take an intuitive glance at the map. And there it is. We will be going north, and all of these teams on the south, come phase 4, have to cross the water. That ain't easy. That is not going to be an easy feat for what is, I think, 6 teams on the southern side.
Yeah, just about 6 teams, I think. Man, that's tough for FaZe Clan as well now. Even for 180R, which, you know, had this whole entire skirmish just around the bridge, you might think they're in a good spot now to camp some of these teams, but they've lost a play as well, and they're out of position just a tiny bit too, so it's just going to be down to essentially get as many frags as you can. So not an easy feat for them. You know, Die making it into the city as well. This is kind of the scent that I was hoping Bushido would be a little bit more prepared for, but instead, they're the ones being shot at now. Hello, My Bad has found a great angle inside of one of the first houses he's kind of just driven into. And on the other side, it's another fight as well. Badanini, the first team that originally arrived in this city, still holding that 2-2 split, and will be the first team with a really fast and really good frag as well. Marcel kind of just sees that player exiting the car and gets one for free. But once again, he has to be careful. There's a big split going on around the city with for Badanini. And the majority of the players are actually across the street towards the southern side of things. So, great split coming up from them, but it's a dangerous one if you're fighting alone.
Dangerous in the city for sure because it's so crowded, but look at this. Ascend has seen GG wrap back into the blue and try to cross that northern bridge. Try and cross where nobody else should be in the blue zone. Meanwhile, city fight going the way of Bushido by the looks of things. 2 knocks, 1 flush. Kantic stolen away. But Ascend, the first place team, is sitting in the blue, waiting for the to come their way, hoping they can camp and hoping they can do the same thing that ADR is doing here. 1-2, thank you. Team's out as well. And just like that, FaZe get obliterated. But Brex is knocked from falling elsewhere.
Yeah, he's actually just towards the west of it. I don't think they could potentially have angles on this, but they're not even seeing this. They're all occupied with 9 away now, driving across here as well. They've already found 4 frags. Can he find 2 more? He's already found the first one. The second player from 9 away somehow makes it through, but he... Oh my god, look who he drives into. Straight into Hakim. He's got 11 more bullets. Has to be careful though. Player X is just behind him. He's hiding in the bushes. He somehow still almost gets it. Runs out of bullets now. And there's just no chance to go and recover from that. He can't reload in time, and Kettle takes him down. The sub for 9 away, saving things. But now they've suddenly realized, okay, wait a minute. Something's going on our other side as well. Maybe they could have seen Resco all along, but they were so occupied they didn't even realize Ascend was having trouble as well. Just about 100 meters up north.
Oh, look at this. GG wants to punish. They got the knock. They saw Brex getting knocked, and they knocked Chris themselves. They want to fly in on this. Keely finds one, though. Can he find the second? He desperately needs this. No. GG. Send them home. Send them packing. Keely finds 2, but it does not matter. First place team out again. Almost 0 points in this one. Might have been 0 if they don't get any of these flushes, which I don't think they should. That is disaster for them. And again, the door is so wide open now.
All eyes on win or die. Really just all eyes on win or die. Ooh. P90, you still have to be careful of where you walk in though. Even with a gun like that. Pop shots, left side, right side. Maybe Utility can turn this fight around, but no. He's going to be caught off guard by the push from Artix. Just does the white peak and takes him down. Brightside Conf both out of the equation for Fairy Tail. There's just 2 players left standing, and maybe make that 1. Maybe make that 0 any second now. He's got a P90. Goes into third-person shooting mode and still takes him down. P90 is just a tiny bit too strong. Easy
just
on the recoil control of that. Yeah, just a tiny bit. Easy on the recoil control of that distance as well. Artix finds yet another player and cleans up that entire edge. SlamG getting out of this one with no players lost despite that chaotic skirmish is a really nice outcome for them as well. And look, they've got so much space on the south and southwestern side. There's a compound even right in front of them, completely free, completely open to taking. And while they might get in relatively unscathed, the same cannot be said, but all the teams are now have to make their way in to the eastern side. Maybe this phase is going to allow some of them to live, but the next one over is going to be brutal.
Next one's going to be brutal, 100%. You know, you could not be more right. The next one is going to eliminate so many of our teams that are sitting on the edges right now. And on these small pieces of terrain, you see a GG there. They've got a ridge in the field. They got to smoke it out to survive. And Even that ridge is barely in. Foot to their north. I think 3-man up, right? They lost 8C earlier in a compound that is very, very edge as well. It ain't easy if you're not in the city right now. If you're not centered up, it ain't easy. Hicks's, his days should be very short-lived here as well. 9 away is ready and waiting for him, but even 9 away, gotta move towards zone at some point. So they're gonna drop a little bit of the Hicks's focus, but it should still be enough to take him out. Where they go in the next zone, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's already shots against the only player that's inside the current safe zone. And yeah, Hicks's, I mean, his position is still there, still kind of dangerous to them as well. But he's going to be forced out any second now. It's such a tough spot as well, that tower. Like, just clearing the tower is so tough in third person. It's almost impossible. You really have to work with the zone here, just like they're doing. Otherwise, you can't really flush anyone out there. You have to even get close. Yeah, how do you even get a nader into this one? How is he still getting one player? He almost gets the flush too. He's got the jammer backpack to save him for just a couple more seconds. He will get the first aid off. And that's going to allow him maybe an opportunity now to get the flash. I don't think that nade's going to hit, unfortunately. That's definitely not far enough. He hits a couple more shots. But finally goes down. He's done so much damage, though, to so many teams. You got to give it up for these guys. What a horrible EP to start things off, but what a turnaround. Even better of a turnaround in this game.
Nice turnaround, scrapping through the fights. GG, meanwhile, cleaned up on the breach towards the city. Don't make it in. Foot and Eternal Fire both have to make a similar breach. They were blasting GG in the back. Now they got to breach the same spots. Now they got to figure out how to get there as well. If Eternal Fire is already on the move, they're going to beat GG to the punch, or they're going to beat Foot to the punch, excuse me. But they are going to be under heavy fire. Hello, my bad. Gets the nade out. He's up close. 40 HP for him is not a whole lot. But all he has to do is delay and hopefully get a little bit of util towards Eternal Fire. He's got 2 nades in his inventory. They can do a whole lot of damage.
Oh, yeah. First nade's already raining in. Schengen still holding that rock, though. Not finding much more. Just, yeah, he knows the rest of the players aren't definitely very far into the distance. I think he realizes not really worth fighting this just yet. That there could be another team creeping up behind him, and he spots the players as well. This is great intuition coming from him. He almost gets the first frag as well. Barely makes it down the ridgeline there, 9 away. Well, maybe the nade is going to do the trick. But no, not just yet either. They're actually in the sandwich position. I didn't even realize this. They're in a sandwich in a butt. Look at his position. He's behind the entirety of 9 away here, actually.
He's got to activate, though. He's got to activate, and I don't think he can, or at least he doesn't want to. He's moving now. Does still have a player looking at him. Nade comes in from Boostig. The Groza shots do the rest. Slam G finally stepping up. Team that's been disappointing for us in this round of games. They've been good in the player cups. They've been good in Masters. They haven't really shown up until now. And yeah, there's Nabat's situation, right? He can't really push that freely. He can only do that if his team is starting to get knocks, which they aren't. And so it gets pretty awkward for a Hands of Hope that had tons of space here, but couldn't really manage to get a grasp on it.
Yeah. Tough for him to support his teammates there. He's been held out. His position was known pretty early on, I can imagine. While all that is happening, you have another fight in the city. It is Go Next. Finally starting that conquest of buildings against Believe. Some of the players even playing outside the buildings. They are rather close to each other. Acalyptus. Only the first one, Hope goes down. Leaves just 2 players standing for Believe. But still, you have to keep as many players alive now, especially with this shift. It's going to be so very tough to work yourself through the city if you're not a full 4-man up. Because you'll almost always lose at least some of the players just crossing buildings just due to nades. That's not a good start for them, though. Acalyptus being completely caught off guard by the push into the building. And Tetarum still even makes it out with the flush. That definitely wasn't supposed to happen. Couldn't get traded here. And Ansley must have known by the information from his teammate that he should not enter that building. But apparently he didn't, and Winner Die is going to pick up another one. That's not going to be good for Ascend. Especially since Winner Die, look at this. They've got teams that have already been reduced at least by one all around them inside the city. I mean, the only one that's really stopping it, the only team that's really stopping them from getting to Circus Center is just Baldinini as well. Like, they could easily get a little bit more space here.
Yeah, but they're dead center. They don't have to, right? They're sitting dead center. They don't have to do that. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is when I leaving Presenti completely by his lonesome here. If you're looking at it, he's now pulling away from the warehouse, but he was there all alone, and the entire team is looking at Fine. The entire team is looking west to try and blast him out of the windows, to get him out of the car, and they do the damage. They won't catch the knock. And they're letting Eternal Fire get a nice bit of space. I'm not sure if Eternal Fire has any smokes left. If they do, they will cross to the 1-stories here, and they might become a problem later on for Win or Die. So now finally we see them on the map shifting their attention back around. But they maybe could have done more work here and earlier against Eternal Fire, which is one of their biggest competitors here for this northern space.
Oh yeah, I think that fight is just about to start. I think he is the first player. That must have been called Marco, shifting a little bit towards the right. Trying to find a different angle, but it is Dante nevertheless. Opening things up, the mat goes down. This is Win or Die's opportunity now to take control of the city. If they wipe Eternal Fire right now, right then and there, this is a great smoke, by the way, for a potential cross. If they wipe them, then and there, they will have so much space to engage the rest of the teams towards the northern side of this city. But we've seen this a million times before. Doing that without losing anyone inside the city like this, with so many angles pointed at you, it's so tough, but they make it work somehow. Schiller goes down as well. I think that just leaves one player left standing. They must have heard him cross early. I think someone was looking at Cole Marco make that big cross towards the next building over, but now Go Next is chiming into the mix. Max takes down Hello My Bad. That's first casualty against Win or Die. A little bit of damage done against the knock here as well. They gotta try and save him, but the cross is not that easy. You can see the sidelines are not perfect.
Such a tricky game in the city, right? So many angles, so many windows, so many sneaky positions for players to be ready to punish, and Max has one of those positions. Now, though, Code Marco caught from behind. Sloy is ready for it, and so far, no flush coming through onto Hello My Bad. I haven't even seen additional damage. It's just the ticks now after those first few bullets. There's a nade in the hand of Max. He's really trying to convert. He's really trying to confirm, but he finds rocks as well. This is bad news for Win or Die. Even if they get any of these reses now, they're going to have to spend a whole lot of time trying to claw back that situation. And even that, Max is going to try to never let it happen.
Yeah, and looking at the overall leaderboard situation, they need a little bit more than this. They need a little bit more than this to catch up. It's not quite 20 points anymore, but 6 points is not going to be enough just yet. It's only one placement point at the moment. Dante finally takes down Max. Was kind of the biggest opposition on whether or not Win or Die was going to go out here. But yeah, what a knock. Look at the sightlines as well. Did he knock him all the way through the building? That's ridiculous. Yeah. What a sightline. I mean, I can understand Max going down there. I think any one of us would have gone down there as well. I never would have expected that angle to be possible.
Remember this after this game. Remember this after the tournament. That might have literally been the tournament-winning knock. That's a double res right there. That is Max, yeah, maybe getting res, but it's 4-man up instead of a 2-man for Win or Die in a city circle where they should have playability into a whole lot more buildings, right? They can easily get themselves 6 more points here or something like that, and they would have probably just been out if they were just left to the duo. This was huge. This was a huge impact from Dante. Presenti is found on the other side, though, so they keep bleeding here, Win or Die. They're not moving cleanly across the city.
No, I think now it's just about falling apart. The blue zone is obviously a big part of why it's so troublesome for them as well to not only get these reses, but then make a move off of it. Because everyone knows, right, other teams on the edges, they're going to be pressured into really uncomfortable scenarios any second now. And Win or Die is one of these teams. One of the teams that really isn't, though, is Baldinini. They've held this center spot for like 5, maybe even 6 phases. They've been here since the very beginning, and they've done really well so far. They haven't really found many knocks, but that's expected. But they've also made sure not to lose anyone. This is kind of the first time that we've seen a little bit of trouble here coming in against Baldini, but it doesn't really matter. They will get the rest. Hope on the other side. Hibako holding strong as well. 9 away, still somehow alive, by the way. Trying to make it into these warehouses. They are meeting heavy resistance. Hibako is one of the strongest fraggers in this lobby. Together with Itzchris, they've been leading the kills after day 1 and almost after day 2 as well. And he will find one more.
Gets herself the flush, keeps hope in it, hope in 9 away. They've been squaring off for so long now. SlamG, just the team on the edge of that, benefiting the entire time, right? They continuously third-party this. They continuously pick up frags. They're boosting. The Grows are earlier. Arctics with the P90. We've seen them pop off, and they're still in zone as well, so they don't have to go all that crazy. They're also the only team that really has access to cover outside of the city. How good that's going to be, I'm not sure, because Baldini is in a big building that sees a lot of that outside area. But you look at Baldini, right, and you look at their windows, it's quite limited. So this space that SlamG has here, if they just slow down and they keep some smokes and maybe even some folded shields for the late game, they're looking like an absolute contender for the win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's not perfect buildings. Like, everyone who's fought in the city, who's also in the city, knows that, especially if they have to cross up north, it's really not that perfect, and especially if you fight up north as well. Sometimes can even work against you because the windows are so limited. And I think some of the players now inside the city are using that to their advantage. They've already crossed the street towards Baldini. Might be able to single out some of the players, and I think Sloy's just gone down as well. This might be the fight to win it. This might be one of the most important fights in this game now in terms of who's really got a chance of this one. And Bushido makes it work, runs across, good sidelines that they've used to cover themselves on this cross. Really, really well, really smart play here from Metabay. You can see he stayed back. He made sure none of the windows that Baldini could peek themselves from were not covered. He made sure to put enough pressure on that for the rest of his team to cross, and then obviously his team wins the duel over there as well. Takes down Sloy. Just one player left standing here, but oh my goodness, he's got a Panzerfaust. This might turn things around yet again.
Might turn things around. He's got to get it ready, though. He's fishing for util still. The flash might delay a bit. He gets the Panzerfaust out in time. This can be disaster for Bushido. How clumped are they? There's a Panzerfaust on the other side. This could get very, very explosive very quickly. Finds one. Should easily find that flush as well, but no. Goes for the second, and it's not meant to be. Baldini get overwhelmed, get overrun. And Bushido stay alive, but they do lose Metabay in the process here, so they're not going to come out cleanly.
Man, I really thought he was going to use that staircase a little bit more to his advantage. The Panzerfaust, he can really shoot at the back of that staircase and take down almost anyone. Nade off the back of that would have really helped him in that fight, but utility is just a tiny bit too strong. Covers that push up the staircase. Really well played from Bushido on the other side as well. They will lose one player though, and that's Metabay. That's their aerial support, so to speak. That's going to make it tough. Go Next goes out though. There's a couple more frags going their way, and Bushido finally showing us they always have been a team that's to be feared. So clean so far in terms of micromanaging these pushes. And will secure themselves 7 frags as well. Celtic leading the charge with just about 5. It's not over yet though. There's still one team they have to beat, and that's SlamG. Full 4-man up.
Full 4-man, yeah. Full 4-man power position. Circle ends right outside of Bushido's house. But remember, there's 2 drop guns on SlamG. Remember, they have Boostic and they have Mogore. Absolute cracked nutters. Now, this building would be insanely powerful if it had windows towards the top. It has a single one towards the west here. This is going to go down to the wire. This is going to go down to the swing. I'm not sure if SlamG has any smokes, but so far they're just playing around the smokes that Bushido is giving them. And they're just trying to take Honest here. They're just trying to take the gunfights. I'm not sure if they have nothing left. It looks like it. Look at this. No util, not a single throwable on Mogore, nothing on Artix, nothing on Boostic. They have to take full Honest here, and a single flash, a single nade can absolutely ruin their day.
Man, this is so unfortunate for Bushido. Look, they've got 0 windows to peek any of this. They have to make it out the building just by walking outside. A couple trades back and forth, but I think it's a 2-1 trade going the way of SlamG. He still takes down one more, but it is SlamG in the end of the day that will take down the last player. Man, that was close though. Trades all the way down to the last player. It really did come down to a 1-on-1. SlamG takes it home though. 12 frags in this game. We've been waiting for a game like this coming out from SlamG for quite some time. They've been really impressive in some of these qualification stages. They've been one of the teams that's been most consistent in the qualification stages as well, even running away with some of the days. But man, so far in the finals, it's really not happened, at least not to this fashion. So I'm really glad seeing them back on top.
They were 15th before this game. They were 15th, 2 points away from last. And they just got 22 points. They just got a 12-kill win for themselves. So massive step up from them. Love to see it. Super good control on that coastline as well, right? Making sure that whenever they were taking a fight, it was an isolated one. And whenever there was a fight going on around them, they would go in third party and weaken these teams and make it easier to transition into the late game. Where then, you know, you've got the better shooters. It does work out in the end. FaZe, not really making it work, but ADR somehow, from a rough EP, really pulling back here and really making sure that they scrap out a few points this game, Felix.
Yeah, really well done. I mean, we talked about this, right? Higgs is, with his position, doing so much damage to all these teams, trying to make it across, trying to play the coastline. He had so much survivability there. Then we have it again, Ascend. Yes, they do get a couple of knocks, but they've... I don't know what it was exactly. We didn't see, but Brexit got knocked. I think, yes, they didn't have the time to res it, but they kind of got pulled into this whole, like, someone has to cover, someone has to res, and then, you know, GG kind of pushed at the same time kind of thing, where just nothing really was structured anymore, and as a result, they got caught in a really unfortunate situation with GG breaching at just the perfect moment for them to be a little bit unstructured, a little bit caught in between. Do we get this rest now? Do we just, you know, hold on, wait for the rest of the teams all around us to kind of solidify their positions themselves? And unfortunately, it didn't work out quite perfectly for them. And Ascend now, a little bit of trouble, I think. I mean, Winodai didn't have the best of games, but they're creeping up there. At this point, you could argue it's a best of two, really.
Ascend have to be really, really happy that Win or Die didn't roll that city, right? They have the tools to just roll through some of those teams. They got knocked a lot. They didn't really make it across. They lost players to the blue zone. But shout out to GG as well. They see Brex getting knocked out of the glider. I think he actually knocks himself while landing, by the way. That does happen, but it still hurts because that ruined their game. They instantly knock Chris as he's trying to go for the res, and they instantly go for the punish. They know that if they don't kill Ascend, it's so much harder to catch up. So they make the right play, and they punish the big dogs. And everybody, again, has had another chance to close that gap. So when we come back from the break in just a few minutes, we'll see how much that gap has shrunken to. But we have 2 more games after that, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
Two games left for the entire tournament to be decided. 2 games that we've watched today of Ascend fumbling the bag, Felix. I know all you want to see is Ascend take it home tonight. So how are you feeling about this leaderboard right now?
Well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? 97-95. That's not a lot. That's just about 2 points. Quick math right there. Ascend really giving it away. Unfortunately, really giving it away. I can't even pinpoint it on what's been the problem. I think last game has just been a mix of like really unfortunate things. Pain's disconnecting, Brex being taken out by himself. Yeah, twice as well. Brex being taken out by himself, and then GG just hitting the perfect timing while they've just about rest Bresco. They just drove in there and utilized this to the best of their ability. I'm going to give it up for GG as well. They realized this in the kill feed, immediately drove up to it. But be that as it may, right? You've got 2 chances now. In a sense, said this yesterday, said this the day before as well. They like to somehow choke these types of tournaments towards the end of it. Don't want to jinx it. I hope I'm not doing that. But man, they got to start right now.
They got to start right now. If they want to be competing for the prize pool, if they don't want to give away first spot, if they don't want to give away a lion's share of that money to win or die, creeping up on them. ADR and GG also keeping themselves in contention, right? FaZe not really getting anything going this game. But it is definitely ADR and win or die, especially 2 points away. It's a best of 2. It's everything is up for grabs. You don't have an advantage anymore. You're really just going into the game the same way that the other the other 4 players on the opposing team are going. And again, mentally, if you're on catching up and the more you roll in every game the gap shrinks, that is so much easier than if you're looking at that leaderboard and it looks worse every single game.
Yeah. Especially towards the end of a tournament like this, right? You have so much more confidence right now if you win or die. You've already had 2 great games today. You know what it feels like just shooting at people and taking them out. As blunt as it sounds like, Ascend really doesn't have that today. Not really many frags going their way. A couple of points in Miramar, just about nothing last game. Doesn't feel good. This time, they might turn it around. We've always had at least some chances of at a win on almost all of the games that we've seen from Ascent. Especially that last game that we've seen yesterday. It looked like almost impossible for them to do just about anything with that one. Sending it straight through the middle, losing Brexco immediately, and they still somehow make it work. That's been what's keeping them at the top spot so far. And we need this just about now.
Oh, no way.
Go for the drive down, by the way. That's crazy.
There's a play in the combat with a gun. That's completely correct that he actually bails there. But
okay, he's
winning the 1v2 on the car. I mean, he literally dies there if he goes for the runovers. Look, he even got shot from the barrel there. If he gets a tire popped and that buggy spins, there's a good chance he loses the car and his life.
I thought the silence were a little bit worse, but yeah, I stand corrected.
I think that's crazy. But it's crazy that he wins the car as a solo versus 2 people. Like, he's literally so much better at parachuting than the Eternal Fire players are.
The confidence as well to just go for it, right?
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, thinking probably like 8 out of 10 people are just not contesting that. Because the chances that both of these players are parachuting worse than you is just not really that high, especially with a player that's definitely going to make it into the compound. But he's going to be rewarded not only by a car, but with this circle as well.
Yeah. There's a fine line between, what is the word? Fine line between bravery and stupidity, and he's definitely right in that line. Like you said, right? If he does get outclassed on the parachute there, he's instantly dead, and his game's over. But they really care about taking that car away from their Turkish brethren, Bushido and Eternal Fire, same region, same kind of gameplay, same kind of loot spot. So he wants to send a bit of a message there. Phase 1's pretty tame. Nothing all too crazy. We'll see what the teams do with it. No crazy hot drops either. So we watch Terminal and Test Track being split between 2 teams. That's a classic. I've seen that countless times. The only thing that's really interesting about the circle is we have the northern island in and the southern, in the central part. So there is a chance that this does go north. And if Phase 2, for example, or Phase 3 shift hard north, then suddenly everybody's thrown for a spin.
Will be a tough one. Tough one to handle for plenty of these. Teams on the other side of it. We are approaching the end now. We've already played 2 games today. In case you've just tuned in, it is a best of 4 each day only. So we're in the second to last game. $5,000 up for grabs. Most important thing for most of these teams will be getting into top 8. Most important thing for Winner Die that we're seeing right now is making more points than Ascent from this point onward. These are the 2 top teams that have been performing much, much better than everyone else so far in this Super Cup. More consistent, better in terms of fragging as well, better in terms of salvaging most of these rounds, and better in terms of closing it out as well, which especially Ascent has done really, really well at in the very first day of the finals that we've seen.
100%. They've been really impressive, Ascent. It's just, I think the consistency that you just mentioned is actually sort of the Achilles heel for them, right? They've had lots of 2-point, 1-point games. Last one was a 0.1. Winner Die hasn't won nearly as many games. They haven't popped off nearly as much. But they are way more consistent in getting their 5, 7, 4 points every single game. And that's really what caught them up all the way here. Ascent started the day, or started the tournament with 2 wins back-to-back, right? Winner Die has won 1 game in the entire tournament. But because they are more consistent, they are now literally on an equal playing field. And with a home circle for Winner Die, they are really holding all the cards right now. If this goes badly for them, unless it goes extremely unlucky, it's sort of their own fault, right? It was sort of in their own hands. Ascent is going to come in very, very slow from that northeastern edge. They are going to get a glider for Brex here up on that north road or on the east, depending which one they want to go for. But I'd be very surprised if they don't. I think he's already going for one. And they are going to get a lot of information, going to come in late. But this is literally the circle that you loot Stadium for. This is literally the home circle for Winner Die.
First shots from GG. Doesn't work out at all, though. Slam G and GG kind of driving into each other on that rotate. As Slam G really seems to be winning this. Not just a tiny bit, seems to be winning this by a long shot. Just one player knocked from Slam G, but even he's kind of safe. And look at this, Layer G Master retreating. There's no chance of bringing anything back, essentially. Extends is super far away as well. They have to continue this one as 2. This was definitely a surprising turnaround for GG, I think. And a good connection from Slam G. I'm not sure how it started exactly, but they must have been caught off guard really, really heavily here by not just a couple of players by Slam G, but essentially the whole team. Everyone was ready for them.
Yeah, I love the setup. Love it from Slam G as well. Again, a team we expect quite a bit from. And they were 15th before the last game. So seeing them come back, seeing them show a bit of what they can do is awesome. Now Leo's caught by Shilla. You've been singing his praises. He does hit his shots whenever he gets a chance. It's just the problem that Eternal Fire hasn't been in positions to let him shoot a lot. But he absolutely nails it there. And just like that, GG, down to a single player. I'm not sure if he's catching that car, but I think it's going right at the tree. Unless he keeps going. That's a free Esports Dacia. That's beautiful for Shilla. It's a nice pickup for Eternal Fire. Good way to start your game.
Perfect. Love to see it. 5th man on the roster right here, the tree. Saves him the car. Gives him a little bit more timing in phase 1. A little bit better timing, a little bit more space. Get something done. And there we have it, Eternal Fire. Starting with the first frag. They've been having a little bit of a turnaround as well. They started off rather weak, and then they've found their groove a little bit more. Still playing rather edge heavy. Still trying to take as many fights as possible, especially phase 3, phase 4. It feels like. Obviously, if it really helps them advance for the later phases, that is. And yeah, it seems to be working out a little bit more consistently. They still lose a player here and there, for sure. That's kind of keeping them from going into late game more often, but it's starting to happen. And I'm excited to see these guys perform in TPP as time goes on, better and better and better as well.
Figuring out the groove. Playing Bushilla as well, right? That's good to see. Integrating him into the roster. As Win or Die, still holding their 2-2 split. Lots of space for them. 2 sort of different options that aren't very far from each other. But this is a compound that can get fed sometimes because of the rocks around it, right? This is an option for them, and they will undoubtedly pull together if they feel a lot of pressure, but they shouldn't feel pressure. And this is the puffer fishing that I was talking about, right? Blowing yourself up, pretending like you're a lot of guys, shooting a whole lot, let everybody know you're there, and hope that they are fooled into not aggressing. So they're trying to keep all of the space, while Ascend is doing the exact opposite on that northern side, right? Coming in super late, but I think they should have gotten themselves a glider for Brex if they had a gas can. If they didn't find the gas can, they won't have a glider, but if they have one single gas can, they will. And then they're going to scout all of that information about that northern third of the circle, and they're going to be quite ready for that phase 2 wherever it pops. So unless it goes really hard south, Ascend should have a good playable line in here as well, Felix.
Yeah, I think it could still happen. The glider play.
Just depends if they found a gas can or not.
Yeah,
if they found a gas can, they're 100% in a glider, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they'll probably loot a little bit more if they haven't found one. But okay, so never mind us.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, I would have surprised me if they wouldn't have found one, and if they wouldn't have, I'm sure they would continue looting until they do, at least for another minute. That is. But Ascend will have it. This is a good setup for Ascend now. This is what they need. This is exactly what the German community has been waiting for. A clean setup early game to start things off in Miramar. A rather clean edge as well. Northern side is not too contested because of the playing path. There's like 2 teams essentially that really could give them trouble, which is like Believe and Hope, but I mean this shift doesn't really matter that much anymore, right? It's deep down to the south. It's a heavy shift against them. And if you look at Win or Die right now, direct competition, they on the other hand, have found themselves a great spot to its stadium.
Yeah, I said it, right? If the zone doesn't go hard south, then they will have a lot of information and a really good line into phase number 2. Now, zone goes as hard away from them as it can. They're still in a glider. They're still in a really good spot. They should still be able to get a lot of information, get a nice solid wrap around that eastern side, and they can be fine here. But they had a good setup for any northern circle. So not rewarded for now, but that is the way PUBG works, right? You gotta set yourself up for chances, and then when they come, you can reward yourself, and if they don't, you gotta set yourself up for the next one. So plenty of rotations now coming in. Teams realizing we are ending on the southern island. Teams like Foot realizing, okay, we're not flying towards stadium. We're actually gonna jump down here. They were doing a bit of a split approach with a bit of EP and a bit of cars. They now, honestly, what was just saw from Foot there is a really, really good split. They got that entire swamp ending covered. One southern shift, and they're looking amazing.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, Presenti.
Really, really good setup. This could be dangerous. I don't think anything's going to happen with it. Presenti goes down. I think it starts this game. You can see it's been way too far, and yeah, for sure, like he's definitely in a safe spot. That would surprise me if he really would have been taken down. And down and out, at least. A mistake that we haven't really seen Win or Die do a whole lot. So it now comes out. Maybe a couple of lucky shots while he crawls over from the pillar inside the stadium. Maybe. I don't think he's risking it. Really doesn't matter. Dante, 2 shots, 2 headshots. Crossberg hits the ground. Exactly what you need in terms of support.
Love that. I don't think they You were right there, right? There could be a few lucky shots landed when he crawls, but I think that's why he didn't crawl. That's why he didn't move away from the pillar, just stays in the smoke, waits for his team, and stays behind cover. SlamG trying to keep things rolling, but they are getting stopped in their tracks a bit here. Ogora out by Hands of Hope on that eastern side of the circle. Ascend, we just saw them on the minimap there when we were watching the reses. They have come in on the north. If you're wondering why we talk about Win or Die and Ascend so much, they are both of the teams that can win this right now unless something crazy happens. So to give you a bit of a rundown, it's Ascend and Win or Die essentially tied, and then it's ADR, GG, and FaZe Clan that are on the hunt. But GG has already lost, I think, 3 players this game. I'm not sure if they still have the 4th one up or if they're all out. Having a quick look, they still have that solo alive. So it's essentially, yeah, sure, FaZe and ADR, if they pull off a miracle, they can come into this. But 90% of the time, this is going to be Ascend versus Win or Die. Yeah,
90% is already a rather generous probability. Ascend now making their way towards the northwestern side of things. This is why the Glider is so important, right? There's one single compound, essentially. Okay, arguably 2 towards the northwestern side of FaZe Clan. There's another compound. But arguably there's one single compound out there that's really, really safe. And Rexco spots out exactly that one because he has the Glider. Paints in the backline as well to give it a little bit more support. Because of that, they over-rotate very well just a tiny bit. Now the tough shift, though, centers around Stadium, at least the southern part of Stadium now. And this is interesting now. I want to see what the center's going to do with this one. They don't have prior or anything just yet. And realistically, you're not committing to Stadium with a circle like this now. Like, you're definitely not in the position that Ascend is, especially not in the situation that Ascend is right now, where every single point matters, every single placement point, or every single early finish could potentially throw away the tournament for you. So I'm looking forward to see what they're doing right now. I don't see a whole lot of options, I gotta be honest. It's a tough circle for them, especially in the edge they're in. Maybe another big wrap off the back of Brasco's Glider, but I think Brasco's even landed himself, so maybe the Glider isn't even an option anymore. He's been shot at by plenty of players as well. He's not gliding anymore, but Fairy Tail, the team that was playing next to them, has gone for that big wrap you were talking about. Fairy Tail is going all the way across the map. We just saw them cruise on by here. We see more of them now going past, trying to go for the south and center of this circle. And they have given up that entire edge to Ascend. So they now have tons of space. This circle, it won't be going east, and it won't be going extremely hard south. So northwest, not the worst place to be in right now for Ascend. ADR, though, they're a team that we talked about. If they pull off a miracle, if they win this game, for example, they're in the conversation. But right now, Luchik has to call off a miracle first. Maver is on 1 HP, but it probably won't be enough. ADR's on the pull-up, but they're in a 2v3 here. They gotta make this working fast. Look at the minimap. Belief is coming out as well. Yeah, it needs to happen really, really fast. Rubuki's done crazy stuff already in this series, but this would be really, really stretching it. Finds the first one. This is a good start. This is what they need. Sees the second player as well. Takes him down to just about 30 HP. Whereas his teammate, though, he needs to push that ridgeline. Akim really close. Sees the player behind the car now, but it's TPP. You can't just push that like that. He needs to use utility to cross the distance. And there he goes. At least one more flush. Sees the player. He goes for the knockdown, though. Takes damage on the cross. Oh, no. This is disaster for them. ADL cannot turn it around whatsoever, and they would have had the chance to, but he spots out the down player instead of the player behind the car. That might have just been the little bit of difference for them to take this fight or to lose it. And unfortunately, they will indeed. Freeside gets out on top with 2 players down, though, down and out, and just full frags. I'm not sure if that's going to be too good of a position now to do anything with the players they have, so we'll have to wait and see. But just to keep you guys in the loop, they still need a couple of points as well to solidify their position up there. Yeah, never a good time to lose 2 players, even if you're wiping a whole squad for it. Win or Die, meanwhile, they got Dante knocked down, but they have Harlow My Bad looking for these frags as well. Look at him. They're seeing if he can pick up any of that free side ADR mess for himself. But he's going to have to fall away from it. Not going to be able to pull that off. Again, Circle can't go hard east here because of that little lake inside. You can do almost anything else. So this is going to be a really, really important, really impactful shift. And it goes hard south. Right onto Fairy Tail. They're looking like absolute genius right now with the wrap they did. And both Ascend and Win or Die are far from zone here with plenty of teams in between, Alex. Plenty of teams in between. And I'm still wondering what Ascend is going to do. Like, while everything is happening, I wonder what Win or Die is going to do and what Ascend is going to do. Because, once again, I don't see too many options right now. Talking about options, Fairy Tale as well, really tough spots between Hands of Hope, between 9 away. So many teams in such a precarious situation where there isn't really a whole lot they really can do. And yeah, so I'm glad Ascent waited. Ascent waited for one more shift, and now they're taking the big rep. I expected this to happen. A big rep all around it. Would have been even easier with a glider, but it doesn't really matter. They will still find an entry. And yes, they're not in the circle just yet, but they can work with this. And there's a whole lot of skirmish all around them. Maybe, just maybe, they'll find a good opening off the back of that really wild rep. I don't think a lot of teams are going to expect Ascent to be here as a full format.
For sure not, and you can see Hibako had no idea as well. Hits the prone immediately, tries to be safe behind the car. That opening knock would have done wonders for Ascend. The shots are coming in regardless, but they're on a clock. The time is ticking. 1 minute 40 until that circle locks them out. They have to make moves here in between teams with, I think, a lot of players. It's 12 players right around that southern edge, so Ascend can't really go for it. Win or Die, meanwhile, are on the Ascend as well. They are going for the same sort of area Ascend is going for in the middle of the map. Artix rocks out with the shotgun. Slam G, not quite done just yet, but Ascend and Win or Die might literally clash in the middle of the circle here, Felix.
Yeah, they might just clash. I think, man, Ascent is actually sending into the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, this might be the most important fight of this series. Hello, My Bite is leading the charge. Nate comes on through, though, but Ascent should have the angles on him. How is he not taken down? He even takes down Brexco. This is not supposed to happen. Hello, My Bad has to be traded right here, right now. Nates are now raining on through. Good nades back and forth. Kilyakai takes down his own teammate, though, unfortunately. More nades are raining on through. Brexco, once again, flushed down and out. They will just have 3 players left standing now. And Win or Die, they tried to cross the distance, but after the first one went down, they're not trying anything either. At least not now anymore. Couple more nades though. Oh no, cross. Oh, this is dangerous. He stays alive. This is such a crucial nade. If that would have hit for Win or Die, oh my word, that could have turned the tides yet again. They will stay and live for just another moment. Pains now. He's trying again. He's got the Panzerfaust. If he's spotted out, though, it might be a problem. He's trying to cross the distance. How is he even staying alive? How is he even doing this? There's no support in the backlines whatsoever. First player goes down second as well. It's Chris hits the floor. 2v1 now. Kilyakai just behind the rock. And he's trying to heal back up, but so many angles in just about another second. Presenti is going to have another one. But I think he's being shot from the distance as well. He can't cross just yet. Smokes all around towards the northern side as well. And Kilyakai is still stuck behind that rock. I think they're going for the rest as well. I think Dante's going to be back up in just another second.
Yeah, Presenti's still holding the high ground, holding the information on Killy's rock. Whatever he does, he will be spotted. This ain't looking good for Ascend, Felix. This was their chance to take it. They go aggressive on it, maybe because they don't have a good position either, right? They are getting shot in the back as well. They're not feeling comfortable where they are in the circle. But they go so aggressive that they do end up being punished here, and they're getting punished by the worst possible team, the literal only team that can rip this tournament out of their hands right now. You hate to see it if you're an Ascend fan. Other side of the circle, a little bit further south. Fairy Tale trying to make their way on in. 908, Sizzo tries to say no, finds one, finds the second. What is that? April Bombilovo, they have to pull this back, but it won't be easy.
Oh, Zizzo finds the third even. What is he doing? He's single-handedly taking down Fairy Tale. Just one player left standing now. And the sub, Cadle, tries to find it. No, position is known. Bombilovo. Oh, he just about denied that. I mean, disastrous push from Fairy Tale. Let's be honest, one by one, running into that M4. Amazing shots as well, but
look at Killy.
Definitely not the best team play I've seen coming out from Fairy Tale. Now Killy. Oh yeah, I think he's going to try and do something with this. Kilyakai changes his position, gets into the back lines. He's sneaky like that. And he's repositioned really well here. He might even be able to take down Win or Die. Win or Die has just secured a knock. Baldinini is actually running into them. And maybe, just maybe, we don't have a decision just yet in this game because if both of these teams are already taken down to 1, maybe 2 players, then they will both have a chance in the next game yet again. Because this doesn't look like a big one for either of these.
Love it from Killy. Big reposition, gets away from the known location. He would have been incredibly dead if he stayed on those cars. And he does get away, not only away from Win or Die, but also closer to the play zone. Now FaZe versus Foot is going to kick off. That is good news for Win or Die, because that means they'll stay unscathed. But look at that bloodbath. It's exploding completely. Both of these teams are bleeding members by the second. 2 up for Foot, but 80 gets knocked as well. It's just Pixlick left versus maybe 2 players from FaZe, maybe 1. I'm not even sure.
Just 1 player for Foot Esports who has to do it now. Pixelic, he's not going for the res. I like this. I like the confidence. He's a play in the distance, though. Takes down Hope. At least 1 more point being secured. Of course, Pixelic does it. And he's got the chance to do something even bigger now. He's only got 2 flashes, but maybe the 2 flashes can be enough. Pops the first one. Not much HP on the other side of FaZe Clan as well. The second one as well. This might be perfect. He's got the M249. Oh, he's flashed himself. This was not supposed to happen. And now he pushes across. Be spotted out. Gustav and Mexi will be able to secure the last 2 frags. Vard and Pixelic both being picked up by FaZe Clan indeed, and they will be able to win this skirmish on the northern side, but not without casualties, and not without a heavy fight as well. That almost looked possible for Pixelic, just about stopping his tracks in the very last push. And needed one as well for FaZe Clan to solidify their position in the top 3. That's where they want to be. I know top 1 might be a little bit far off now with the position they've been given, because they need another really big round off the back of that skirmish against Foot Esports. But who knows? Never say never on a FaZe Sunday.
They need to win it. If they want to make it a FaZe Sunday, they need to win this game. Baldini, interestingly enough, have just retreated completely from their Win or Die fight. They have just evacuated the area, have shifted further on south, have left Win or Die alone, despite getting that entry knock. Now that might come back to bite them, because Win or Die is taking that space. They're being mighty aggressive here. Dante is looking for Keely as well. That man, he's got pretty good eyes. He finds solos like it's his full-time job, and they're looking so aware as well. They're looking like they have such a good idea where Killy is. If they manage to take him out, that makes their whole road to win this tournament so much easier.
Nate behind the rock. Doesn't anyone? Fortunately for Slam G, they've already repositioned. Maybe this one is going to do it. Bounces off the cover. Bounces off the emergency cover. Oh, wow. Acalyptus gets away with a scare there. Big one, that is. But none of them are inside the current safe zone. So that's the biggest problem they have ahead of themselves. It's not even each other. It's literally the problem that there's almost no way in. Unless they've got plenty more emergency covers to throw. Both of them will have to get at least some knocks either onto each other or against FaZe Clan, because crossing that big distance, getting inside the safe zone, I don't think it's going to be possible. There's almost no cover all the way up until the ridge line that we're seeing. FaZe Clan. Meanwhile, they'll take down Win or Die. Ooh, oh yes. Rox has been taken down, but so has been Fex.
Oh, and there's more pushes now. Baldini has come back. Now that the team is even weaker, they should know as well that this is a weakened team. They should know that they can strike now. Presenti, last one up for Win or Die. They haven't closed the gap just yet. They haven't run away with things. Win or Die. Everybody's still getting the same amount of placement points. Keely is still kicking in this. If Presenti doesn't pull off something here, we're going into a best of 1 in the last game. Baldini instantly slow it right back down, though. They are so scared of making a mistake. They are so scared of overstepping. And overstepping is FaZe Clan getting aggressive on the east. Instantly punished here.
Yeah, they need to, though. They need to move. Blue Zone is at the back of their backs. And Mexi suddenly finds himself in a really close 1v1 right in front of him. He needs to hit this. Great Blue Zone grenade as well to force Mexi out of position. Pits the peak off the back of that. Really well played. Not only by Sly, but with his teammate as well. He was there to cover in case James was able to peek in the distance. So just from start to finish, really great micro movement so far coming from Baldini. Really impressed. This is not something we've seen too often from Baldini. But, I mean, to be fair, haven't really been put into this position very often either. So great to see it now. Still, far from over. So many teams still. Kilyakai takes down Presenti. This is massive. Oh my word. Kilyakai takes him down. The last player from Win or Die, indeed, out of the equation in this one. But we got to say, they've found a couple more frags than the Senez at this point. And unless Kilyakai does something more crazy here, and unless all of these teams are around and maybe gets a second, maybe a third place, unless that happens, I think the advantage going into the next game is still not going to be as big as we might have expected after that initial fight.
They got 4 frags. Ascend has 2, but Ascend has 1 more placement point, right? So Ascend have been caught up by 1 point at the moment. And then if Keely, so that means 1 point ahead. Now FaZe going down, Ascend 2 points ahead. It's getting better by the second. There's a chance Artix goes out here. There is a chance that Fairy Tail goes out before Keely as well. That man's in a bush. And Tego bushes, I tell you, are no joke. We can see him right now, but if the Observer goes into a free cam and just flies around a bit, you won't be able to see Keely anymore at all. So there's a really good chance that he lives here for another good few seconds. Yes, everybody's heard him in the kill feed, but they got bigger problems, right? They got a Boldini looking at them. They got a Go Next coming in from the north. They're not all too worried about Akelia Kai. I say that, Max finds him. Laser Eyes takes him out. 5th place for Ascend. They have kept it close, but they're still going into a best of 1 next game.
That's amazing for every viewer out there, though, because it's almost going to be tied. It's almost the exact same scenario going into the last one. It's going to be a best of 1, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at who's going to make a move inside the top 8, though, or rather deeper into the top 8, depending on the team. And so far, it's still, I'd say, advantage on Baldini's part. Heavy man advantage, but they are kind of trapped. And I think with how much utility they've already used, because these smoke grenade launchers, almost every one of the players, with how much utility they've used, I don't think they've got much to play with anymore. And they are sandwiched to some degree. I mean, Gonex has got great angles on them. Fairy Tail as well. The only thing that's really playing into their culture now is that Fairy Tail can't single-handedly focus on them right now. They have to watch their back as well. And that's the first one going down. Com finally finds quickly. And, well, never mind me. What a nade, though! Bombilovo! Oh, my word. He doesn't just equalize the scoreline. He takes it into his own hand to decimate them one by one. And Baldini, I'll eat my words again. They are definitely not in the driving seat anymore. That sandwich is a tiny bit too much, as 3 players have just been eliminated within the last 10 seconds. It's all going to be down to Fairy Tail and Go Next.
Go Next as well, 7 frags already. Everybody that's in this late game has put up some numbers. There's 9 on Fairy Tail, there's 8 on Slam G, and Baldini with 5. Now, Marcel, his position is rather known at this point, but he's just trying to bide his time. Shoots at the Panzerfaust, does not connect. More nades will have to do the trick. Go Next, a team that hasn't shown us consistency, but they've shown these pop-up performances. They've won games before. Now with 8, looking to take out Artix, and then looking to take that 3v3.
Really great shots. Just 3 more players from Fairy Tail now standing in between them and the victory, and obviously that solo. But that solo's gonna go out. Conf gonna find it. Fairy Tail on 10 frags as well. Who's gonna take match number 11? That's gonna be the big question. It is either gonna be Fairy Tail or Go Next, both with a very equal chance. We've barely really seen very fair late game endings. This one is about as fair as it gets. Both teams have had skirmishes before. Both teams have good positions in the circle. Both teams need to finish this right now.
Flash comes out. Play is there. The drive-by is there, and it is a trade at least. They wanted to get the position. They couldn't get it, but they do get the trade. Bombilovo's spot is absolutely massive here. Just off the peaks he's able to get. I'm not sure if Go Next has any nades to close him out. If they let him keep this ridge, which they might just be forced to, this could be game over. That nade is looking good onto Max as well. Tiny bit overcooked, but again, his ridge here seems so powerful, Felix.
Yeah, he's a tiny bit more centralized. They used that position after Polo went down to get that position, though. Now they're pushing his ridgeline. The headshot comes through, though. Bombilovo's down to 5 HP. Just one more bullet being needed, but I think he's been given time to hit that first aid. And maybe they haven't even seen that he went down to this low. And they're getting the rest as well. This would have been a 1v1. Bombilovo might have just single-handedly secured them the win. He's going to peek the ridgeline. He gets it as well. 2v1. And oh, wow, what a win off the back of that initial takedown of the solo. 13 frags as well. Fairy Tail indeed bringing things back. And they've been waiting. Likewise, same as we said last game, we've been waiting for some of these teams to pop off. We've been waiting on SlamG just as much as we've been waiting for Fairy Tail. So it's good to see that happening towards the end of the game. But man, that storyline between the Sen and Win or Die, it just keeps on giving, right? That's got to be the highlight of this one.
I mean, the highlight is also for me Bombilovo getting, what is that, 6 frags in the final circle there, right? The nades just exploding Baldini, and then closing out the rest of the game from there as well is massive. But yeah, you're 100% right. That thriller between Win or Die and Ascend in the middle, and Keely actually stepping up, standing up from his prone position to go kill Presenti, absolutely massive. And the difference maker there in that game. If Dante, you could tell he was looking, right? He was trying to find Keely. If he finds him, different story. Now Ascend goes into that last game with the upper hand. And as well, other storylines, ADR, FaZe, not closing the gap here. and not really putting themselves in the conversation for first.
That was the important fight for Zent, at least. Baldanini looking across the ridgeline, spotting out one, later on even two players from Win or Die. And that nade again, yeah, I mean, Bombelovo, man, what a nade. 3 players from Baldanini gone just like that. There was nothing to play here even for Baldanini. I thought it was a little bit better at what they had right in front of them, but I said it before, right? Barely any utility, barely any smokes, barely any grenade launchers to really play and maybe get yourselves in. I'm sure there wasn't any emergency cover either, so very limited playing potential there towards the end as soon as it got down to the top 3. So can't really blame them. Still a good game coming out from Baldanini up until this point. In a really tough spot, they defended so many angles, right? FaZe Clan, even getting up to the ridge on originally, they defended against Win or Die as well. So Win or Die, Baldanini, definitely one team I have to highlight here as well, and micromanaging that entire west side.
A lot of teams really showing signs of brilliance here again, right? We talk about the teams that are going to win this tournament a lot. We talk about Win or Die, we talk about Ascent, but Go Next, putting themselves in like a late game, almost double-digit kills, right? Baldanini, Fairy Tail basically almost getting top 8 of the tournament right now with 2 games less than everybody else. Almost 20% less games played, so that's crazy as well. But we're going to go for one last breather. We're going to go for one last break. And then we'll have the last game of the tournament. And we will decide who wins it in just a few minutes.
Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. This year, we're introducing structured competitive play in third-person perspective mode for players of all ranks, levels, and ability. Here's how it works in EMEA and Americas. PUBG Players Tour competition is held in 2-week phases. Each week, you and your squad can compete in player scrims. Think of these as a great alternative to ranked play. Each day of scrims will feature a variety of maps, with defined team and lobby sizes to ensure a balanced best-of-3 rounds. Teams will earn points based on their performance, and daily leaderboards will track their progress. When the scrims are over, the top teams will qualify for the PUBG Players Tour Cups, where they will be joined by up to 10 invited teams, featuring some of the best players in the region. Players' Cup leaderboards will track team performances across 2 days of play, with the top 8 squads progressing to the final round of competition. Players Masters are the pinnacle of the PUBG Players Tournament. 8 teams from each of the 2 cups will engage in fierce competition for a huge prize pool in each region across the PUBG Players Tour season. And for times when a Players Masters isn't scheduled, you can still get your PUBG Players Tour fix with Super Cups. These work just like Masters events, where again, 16 teams, 8 from each of the 2 previous Players Cups, compete for a share of the total cash prize pool. Welcome to the PUBG Players Tour. You know the game. Be a player.
We are back from the break. It's a classic. It's a Kobo introduction to the last desk segment of the game. Luckily, I don't have to yap all too much because the players are making it interesting, Felix. I think we're gonna go down to essentially a best of 1 unless FaZe Clan gets a 15 kill win, right? Then they get back into the conversation. Same is true for ADR, same is true for GG, but how likely is that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll see, but it is FaZe Sunday, so have you put that into the equation of probability? I'm not sure you have. Also, they've won a game already, so yeah, as we said, who the hell knows at this point? It is FaZe after all, but ultimately the teams that we have to watch, right? It is win or die. It is Ascent. What these teams just fought in this game, it could have already been the ending. If one of these teams would have just done a clean sweep of each other, who knows? Maybe we'll have Ascent then at 110. Maybe that 10-point difference would have been enough then to go into this game as enough of a buffer. But as of right now, it is 2 points difference only, 102 to 100. Which, by the way, both these teams. Got to give it up for them already. Like, it's crazy. We've only played 11 games, so they have almost 10 points a game, which is crazy to think about in a TPP tournament like this, in a final with this amount of competition. If you look down to FUT Esports, that's an entirely different story. If you look down to Eternal Fire, Bushido, all of these heavy hitters in a lobby like this. So, got to give it up for the consistency they've shown us. Same for FaZe Clan 100 ADR, and despite that consistency, from a team like FaZe Clan, you're still 20 points above that. And yeah, you were talking about maybe a 15 kill win. I don't even know if that's going to be enough. If it's just a couple of more points, that's not even going to be enough. So realistically, it is Ascend and Win or Die. We're going to have to focus here.
If it was one team at the top, right? If it was just Ascend or just Win or Die, I'd say the chances that they get nothing go in this game, and then somebody on FaZe, ADR, GG gets a banger game, that's sort of realistic. But now we're in a position where for any of those teams in the top 5 to close the gap, it has to be both teams at the top just falling completely short, right? So, unrealistic, but they're still fighting for third, fourth, fifth, right? They're still fighting for prize money as well. We had a look at the prize pool splits. It still matters, and maybe you can get yourself into a second place as well. So there is a chance that you get yourself up there, and there's still prize money differences, but we are going to be looking a lot at Ascend versus Win or Die. I saw someone confused in chat why we're observing Ascend so much. They're literally in first right now, and they were fighting the team in second in the last game of the tournament. This is how PUBG works, guys. We're trying to see who wins the tournament. So don't flame the poor observers for delivering you the most relevant action. But we have one more game. We have one more Erangel coming up for you guys. This is the last game, and what better map to close it out on than the Old Faithful?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be it. There's lots and lots and lots of people waiting for this very moment. We've had brilliant action throughout the last 2 days, including this one. Throughout the last 3, let's just make it 3. Of the last 3 days, we have brilliant action. So much individual play, so many clutches, so many unthinkable scenarios, so many great utility plays, so many nades that have just hit the absolute mark. Mortars that literally wiped teams and decided the outcome of a game. All of that, in case you haven't watched it, obviously available in the VOD section of either YouTube or Twitch. So make sure to check that out. But it's come down to this moment. It is either going to be Ascend or Win or Die, unless something, as you said, mystical, magical happens on a Sunday, on a beautiful sunny Sunday like this. And we're about to find out.
We are about to find out. Win or Die going for their Gatka split, and Ascend jumping out very late of this plane. We've seen them drop a lot early in this entire tournament. This time they're going late, and they're going up towards Hospital. FUT is the South George team. And then Belief is trying to loot that swamp area or Hospital split, so Ascend's got to be a little careful. They are deeply involved here with Belief, and if they're not careful and this fight gets messy, there's plenty of other teams around that would love to take them out, including the direct competition Win or Die. So gotta stay clean in this, and that's not an easy feat.
Really not. Man, this is so tough. I mean, it's a great circle, both of these teams, let's be honest. Win or Die with a great entry towards Gatka. Ascend, obviously, being deep center has got lots of options now, but if you have a team like Belief, who is really tough to predict at times, right in the center between, like, almost all of your players, let's be honest. I mean, just Brex and Kirk are a little bit more detached from the entirety of the action. Then it's really tough to kind of maneuver around, and you're really easily being trapped into a scenario, being drawn into a scenario that you didn't really want to get to, didn't really want to start it. Who knows what Belief does right here, right? If they see a team like this in the early stages of a tournament, who knows, maybe they just breach you and tell you, we're talking about bullying throughout the last games, where they just bully you away from the loose spot. Could very well happen to Ascent here as well, but by the looks of it, they are fine for the time being. But once again, this is not over yet. It's a 2-2 split, and it's a very far one indeed.
It's a very far one. I just hope they're aware, right? I just hope they're aware. The circle's so far edged that the map split can't even capture it properly. I just hope that they are aware of where Belief is. And it seems like they are. They're going to take that far wrap around the coast, not take any risks, group up, play the game together. This is a last game of a tournament as well. They do play a little differently. They get a little wild because there is teams that aren't in the top 5 right now, that aren't in the top 8 right now, that don't have a ton to play for anymore, right? Not everybody is on the edge of their seat like Ascend and Win or Die are, or like a FaZe, ADR, GG that have at least a dream of catching up. Some of these teams, they are now starting to realize this tournament wasn't ours to win, and they get to do some funky stuff, and they get to try out whatever they want to try out or punish whoever they want to punish. So PUBG in the last game of the tournament is different. It's a different game. And I love that Ascend is trying to just play close together, play powers and numbers, and play really simple PUBG.
We'll see if it works out. So far, that's a really good setup. I was just about to say I'm interested in the timing from Winner Die as well now. Because realistically, they do have a lot of prio, and what usually happens towards the end of a tournament where a lot of these teams are not necessarily going for... They are going for a win, but they're more going for more aggressive phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. All the teams down on the bottom after the leaderboard, they need to name like a big game. They start fragging earlier, so they loot a little bit more and then go into edge fights a little bit more than what they usually would. But that also means, you know, as a team where it really matters, you might want to pick a little bit earlier of a timing to get yourself into spots that usually wouldn't be free anymore. That usually teams that do have prio on it would take, and I feel like Winner Die is doing a little bit something like that, repositioning almost immediately from their original loot spot, knowing that this one, that free's definitely gonna be open for the taking, and that's what they're doing. I just hope they're not splitting too far either. This could, in turn, then be the other danger of it, because teams are playing a little bit more aggressive. They have almost got nothing to lose, so to speak, anymore. So you're having a 1-1-2 split like they like to do in phase 1, phase 2, and it could really fast work against you as well.
It's a treacherous game, that is for sure. Love that we got to see a little bit more of these teams that we're watching right now. The Salam G, a Baldini, right? Just picking up the slack, a Go Next. Just coming back in these last few games, showing us that they can win, that they can dominate as well. Love to see that coming out of the teams that were a little bit further towards the bottom of the scoreboard, maybe just towards the bottom of the top 8, right? And yeah, we don't talk about them as much as we talk about the top 5. It's the nature of the game, but they have showed us that they can get serious. And there's two teams that have been fighting plenty today. Bushido gets the better one of this. Mercel all out for Baldini, and Bushido says, thank you, we will be on our way. They only have a buggy for 2 players, but they've picked up the early frag.
Good stuff. They've really turned this tournament around as well. I think there's barely been any bigger turnaround than Bushido. I think they haven't made it to the first week of qualification, if I remember correctly, right? I think they didn't make it to the first week, so they had to go for the second week, and then they qualified. So they've definitely struggled in terms of TPP and adapting, which for a lineup of this caliber, really experienced players as well. Obviously not to the degree of like FUT Esports and FaZe, but just in general, I think in a lobby like this, definitely on the more experienced side of things, really strong fraggers obviously as well. It's been surprising to me that they've struggled a bit in some of these qualification lobbies, getting top 8 in there. But this final does look different. They seem a little bit more confident in some of their decision making. They seem a little bit more confident in taking fights. They seem a lot more consistent as well in isolated fights. And we might just see one of these, because GG is right in between them, and Levante might get pushed into... Yeah, they're being pushed into the containers, and they want to take this fight. This is what I talked about, right? If you've got nothing to lose at the end of the tournament, you take fights like this.
Absolutely, and this is the exact example of what we were talking about. Now, careful to not step on your teammates' nades, but Crossberg does so cleanly, takes one. No sound on Levante because of that nade as well, and they are absolutely dominated. And that's Bushido saying, we don't give a damn anymore. We see you, we fight you, and we take you out. And GG is not ready for it. Say goodbye to any sort of dreams of catching up now. They need a 25 kill or a 15 kill win, maybe a 20 kill win. And they have been shattered in these last 2 games. It's been really rough for GG. It's been a rough end to the tournament. And, well, we won't be seeing them competing for the top spots anymore.
They try to go for the big games, but situations like these make it really tough to connect to the performance that they've shown us in the middle of the tournament. It's been hasn't been the easiest road for that lineup in general as well, right? It's been a bit back and forth for this lineup, but let's be honest, they are so very experienced, so incredibly strong. They belong to some of the best teams in PUBG. That's 1 point. Some of these players, at least. And well, TPP, as we said, is a little bit of a clean slate. You have to figure things out. Sometimes, at least, some of these situations have to figure things out differently. Between the distance, rotates off the back of this. Once again, 3 frags in the early stages. There's no team coming close to this. All the frags that have been found in this game in general have gone their way.
Look at this, though. They do meet again. This time GG might catch Bushido a little bit off guard, but the angles aren't really working out for them to even take a whole lot of shots here. They get through unscathed. Few seconds. Not enough for GG to get themselves ready for that hold. I want to go back and touch on one of the points you made earlier, right? We talked about Bushido struggling to make it into this tournament, struggling to qualify, getting in through the second round. Ascend got in through the second round as well, right? And I do believe that Win or Die also qualified from the second week. So the top 2 teams right now are actually teams that didn't make it in the first round. And that goes to show you that consistency isn't easily pulled off, right? Being dominant in every tournament is really, really hard in this game, especially in a new game mode, in fresh lobbies, new teams coming in all the time. It ain't easy. And another example of that being not easy is FUT Esports. They are really not showing us the level of potential that we would see normally from them. And again, I don't want to pretend like that makes them a bad team, right? Everybody has bad tournaments sometimes.
Yeah, that would be an unthinkable argument, anyways, right? Talking about experienced teams, that's one of the most experienced teams in the entire lobby, and they do have a pretty interesting split here as well. That's argument to be made that this shows their experience here. We're already on the topic. It's an absolutely insane split in terms of all the information they get, all the possibilities they have to rotate on this next circle pop. Right now, even Bart would have all the information. Who's rotating across the open field? Who's going into the forest? Who's playing Observatory? AC can see all the way towards the northern side as well. And then Pixelic, Carpy towards the western side. Even have access to Swamp. See Bushido rotating in as well. They essentially have information on almost any team towards the northern side based off the split they're playing.
Yeah, tons of space, tons of info, 100%. Force to be reckoned with. FaZe sending it straight through the middle here. They took an EP to scout that phase 1, and now they're just sending it through phase 2. They're going into that swamp, and they're very quickly going to realize, hey, we're not actually being shot at all from that southwestern compound. Maybe we just take that as well. You see FaZe right now just hunkering up here. They will see that this compound is free, and they will take it, and they will either choose to split it or play that compound entirely. So they got a little bit lucky on the rotation here. And oh boy, Keely is getting knocked on the breach from Hands of Hope. That's bad news for Ascent.
Really bad news. Oh no, they're giving it up, I think. This might be one player down now. More shots towards their direction, but they can't drive back anymore. It's too late already. Too late already. They will lose the first player. 2 points of difference. Remember that. We started the day with 20 points between Ascent and the second place. I kind of jinxed it. I said this is not done and dusted just yet. This is not out of the equation. That's one team might be able to catch up, and Win or Die is doing that. Just 2 points now to equalize it, and Ascent is down to a 3-man.
That is so rough. That is so rough. Especially, think about it, right? Ascent's been in this compound the entire game. They've been here from the looting phase. All they did was play this compound, talk about how they want to play this compound and how they want to approach this game, right? And then the second another team comes around, not sure what happened. Maybe an individual mistake. Maybe the plan wasn't up to scratch, but instantly losing a member like that, it hurts. It really just puts you on the back foot. It really makes you sort of think twice about what's going on, and it really gives a second win to Win or Die as well, right? They see this in the kill feed. They know exactly that Ascend is down to a 3-man. They could have not gotten better news right now.
Baines scouting a little bit deeper inside. I'm kind of worried that Ascent is actually going to get breached here. I couldn't imagine Hope. There's not too many options Hope has anyways, right? If they know there's a 3-man right in front of them, I could imagine that they'll just take this fight right away. Because you take out Ascent right here, you have so much more space on that western coastline. And it's almost a necessity to go further in this game. Like, all the positions you need to get info on, you can really only get info on if you have that compound to yourself. Specifically talking about the eastern side of things. So, man, there might be more trouble coming Ascent's way any minute now. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't think it's going to happen in this phase. 15 more seconds until we have an answer on it. Winodai, in the meanwhile, still have found themselves a really good spot. Will remain there as well. Sitting very comfortable. One's really close to them. Doesn't really look like they're going to fight anytime soon. So you can see the big split that we've seen early on. Them rotating off of Gavka is still the one they're holding. And at least positionally, this shift won't be too much of an advantage in comparison to Ascent. But yeah, this makes it all the more likely. I think Hope is going to engage Ascent. I'd be surprised if they don't, to be honest.
Well, I'm not sure about that. We'll see. This is going to be the first little test, though, for Win or Die. The first few rotations coming on through. Nobody's trying to be all too aggressive. Everybody's just sending middle. Everybody's just sending swamp. Go next, Eternal Fire. They're going to crash in the middle of that field. Slam G is already just looking over their shoulders. Fairy Tail and Bushido breaching the same kind of ridge. This circle is blowing up. There's going to be players bleeding here in a second. Look at this kill feed lighting up as well. Oh boy, the entire lobby is flying in. What is going on, Felix?
Oh my word, just absolute carnage left, right and center. Everyone tries to get a piece of the action. And this compound is at the base of it. Even outside the compound, players that wanted to rotate to are being caught off guard by players that expect that, specifically Win or Die. This might be the first frag that goes their way. Yeah, gets the finish. Dante hits the first one. And look, they're chasing this. Go next to the distance. They want to get these frags. This is the confidence that they have earned themselves throughout this day. And it is equalized now with this frag. Rox has solidified Win or Die towards the top one as well. Both Ascend and Win or Die on 102 points with this one, meaning no one's in the driving seat anymore. It's going to be all equalized from this point onwards.
Literally best of one. Win or Die has to be a little careful. Foot is looking into them from the north as well. You can see how my bad is already posturing up though. To send them back, send them packing. Fairy Tail blow up Baldini. A valiant stand for that squad. Not making it into the circle is honestly nothing to be ashamed of. So many teams struggling right now. ADR trying to hold their compound. Plenty of third parties coming in from the outside as well. No one is going out cleanly in this one. And I can see Win or Die and Foot brewing up a bit of a fight on their own. Is this the one fight where Foot kindly comes back and he shows us a little bit of what they can do?
Into the building. Knows that there isn't many buildings he can go into anyways. So many teams all around him, so many players, even inside this compound, that even the one that he just entered, he has to be careful of not being shot through any of the windows. It's not an easy fight in this compound, especially in TPP. This is actually a horrible fight for any of these players. It's so tough clearing out these buildings, especially later on when you need to move out. The worst you can happen is you hold this compound and someone breaches you, takes away even just the 3-story is enough of trouble to really lose a lot of the control that you would have originally in this compound, or by playing this compound. Next phase is coming in though. Phase, you can see it somewhat close, playing the southwestern forest, just south of the big dip that we have. Really good position as well. The question is, even bigger question is, with Win or Die sitting very comfortably towards the eastern side, I think very comfortably inside the circle as well, with almost no one all around them. I mean, they finished off Go Next. Where's Ascent going to go? Oh, Ascent puts the EP. Ascent pops the EP, and they might just fly into Win or Die. I don't see a lot of positions they can really play here. Even if they jump on top of 9 away, they will have to take this fight straight away and then rotate on downwards.
Oh, they don't know.
But it looks like they're not even going towards it. It looks like they're going towards Slam G, maybe into... Oh no, they're all dropping Slam G. I think they're all dropping Slam G, Corvo.
Yeah, they are. I don't know if just Slam G is aware though. They ain't looking. Akeem bolts Brex out of the sky, but Ascent has already landed. Chris has his DMR out, instantly popped. 2 players left standing, 1 player left standing. It's just Paints, right? He's the only one who makes it in, and he doesn't. Oh my god, disaster for Ascent in the last game. That was the worst outcome possible. 0 points. 1 single point. 1 single point from here, from Win or Die, and they have literally done it.
A single point, ladies and gentlemen, for Win or Die is going to be enough to secure them this tournament. Ascent just being picked apart here at the very beginning of this game. It's unfortunate, but the story of today, so many unfortunate scenarios for them. I'm talking Paints disconnecting, I'm talking Brexco being taken out by his own glider, unfortunately with GG utilizing that. And as a result, they've just really not had the points they need in some of the games where they've had the option to go for a lot of these points that they needed. Now Win or Die has the opportunity to do the unthinkable. Come back in a best of 4 with 20 points behind first place. But it's not done just yet. They still need that 1 point. Fex reaches their compound now. We saw them play the forest on the other side, but it looks like they've opted for this compound instead now. It wasn't a necessity, really, but they just really wanted to get in this fight and clean out this edge. This is what we're talking. When it comes to the last games, teams are playing more aggressively. And there it is. Oh, my word. Win or Die. What a comeback we have just witnessed. This is ridiculous. I mean, we foreshadowed it just a tiny bit. We said 20 points is big, but man, sometimes they have trouble closing out these tournaments. And man, oh man, in that fashion though, I would not have expected that to happen. Win or Die, unthinkable scenes, so consistent, so brilliantly strong mentally as well, to keep catching up time and time and time again, because Ascent has had such a brilliant series. Well, they have an even more brilliant one. Presenti, look at this, they're not even stopping here. They want to take down Foot Esports as well.
Might not get the better of this regardless. Presenti going down is a bit of a problem for Win or Die. That's the flush collected as well. Foot looking okay in this. We'll have to make a really hard sweep towards the bottom here. The ridges are really strong for Win or Die, so still entirely possible to walk away with a good game here. And look at Foot, they know as well. They have to worry about their north, but how ready are they really gonna be? Gedrock spotted. Do they know about Leosh all this close? I don't think they do. But at least spotting the far player is going to make them a little bit more wary. They will have to slow things down and try and hold their edge before they start aggressing the south here.
Actually, that's a good circle now for Win or Die. They can just sit down in the valley while the rest of the teams need to go deeper into the forest, and they will come to be forced, because of the sightlines from the compound, they will come to be forced to go a little bit further up north, then just go straight in. I think that will actually go away from Win or Die instead of just towards them. There's no way running Win or Die down anyways. It's just open field. You can't push a ridgeline like this in TPP, so not bad in terms of survivability. You can see the rest of the teams we have last game. They're going to continue to fight, and that might secure them even more points now in the next couple of phases. Blue Grenade against Mogor. Talked about young players having an impact on the scene. He's had a massive impact, just not in this game. Gets taken out. Jeems and Schengen actually with the support from the distance. We'll close out that edge, but it's not over yet. Face is still in the midst of all of that, and Jeems is still standing strong, never to be underestimated. He has been spotted out, though. And it's 4 angry Hands of Hope players trying to take him down. Just 1 nade is actually going to be enough. Just like that, makes it look easy. Jeems goes down. More shots down the northern side as well. Win or Die, actually. Completely different ridgeline now. Fighting against Believe. Looking for it. The first player has already lost his life. And I think if you're Believe right now, you're surely going to clean up the last player as well, right? I mean, you need these points.
For sure, they're looking. But it's Dante on the other side, and he's cooking a nade himself. Not sure if he has enough visibility here, though. He doesn't. Hope takes him out, and Believe sends the winner of the tournament packing. It is another placement point, though, for Win or Die. So they even extend the gap here a little bit. ADR... they're left standing. They're a team that can still say a little bit about this leaderboard. But it's all probably a little too late. Few points behind FaZe, though, is ADR, so they can still fight for a third place here. They can still bump them up in the standings, get a little bit more of that prize money.
And ADR, they've survived in this compound for this long, but I think with this circle, finally, there's going to be a little bit more action coming their way. Because I think either Fairy Tail or Hope has to make their way in somewhere close to them. Even though I think Hope's best winning play here is actually engaging Believe. It's definitely possible to drive up on these ridge lines, especially with the split that Believe is having. If they figure that out, that the split is a 2-2 split actually, and two of the players are all the way to the northern side, it's actually very easy to drive on these ridge lines. Well, easy is a bit much, but it's definitely possible to drive up on these ridge lines. If you're doing that coordinatedly, in a structured manner, it's very, very possible that we'll have an entry towards Believe, and we'll be able to play that northern ridgeline. The ridgeline is definitely going to give them the most control of the current circle, and I think that's what they're doing, Hope. So the car ready, Hibako starting the car as well. But I think Believe has just now realized this is the angle that we might get attacked on. And they have brought another player over, so it's a three-man defense. Let's see what they can do with it. Schengen already shot out of the car. Celtic climbing into things, taking out one of the Believe players. Ansley, though, trades things out. It's two players now standing for Believe. Excuse me, 3 players for Believe, 2 players left standing for Hope, that is. It's not over just yet.
Just Nabat left, though, and he's not even arrived here. He's a few meters off to the east. He's a bit more closer to the circle, but not in the fight, really. Trying to get some nades over. Not sure if they're going to reach. But he's lost all of his teammates, and now surely they're going to spot that US. They're going to realize where he is, and he's got a 1v4 on his hands here in a minute. Not the approach that Hope wanted to make. 80 knocks Vad with the blue zone. That's not what Foot want to be doing either. They're fighting versus GG in the north here. This is not an irrelevant fight either. GG can still do a lot about this. And with the help of 80 there, they're going to keep 2 members up. They're going to get themselves deep into placements here because look how alone they are on this side of the circle as well.
No one's there. No one's all around them. It'll just be them having essentially the entire control of the forest. But the silence aren't that perfect. Like, let's be honest. Yes, it's the entire control of the forest, but you can't really do too much with it. And I think as soon as Believe is pushing out of the ridgeline that they have on the western side, they've been in a bit of trouble as well. The one thing that's really good for them is that there's still 3 teams still with the southern side. There's not this one single team in the compound that can literally just play shoot at everything that you see in the forest. Instead, they need to focus on the rest of the players all around them, which is Bushido, obviously, and which is Fairy Tail still playing the ridgeline outside the compound. So not easy, especially this circle now. That's at least going to give them the advantage, but still, so many players that they need to fight.
Got to deal with them all. Bushido might just decide to go for that ridgeline. Might just decide to avoid the compound at all, because again, pushing through that compound is super hard. But if they have enough smokes, maybe they can just smoke off a few of the windows, close out some of the angles, nade other of the angles. They can try and make the push into ADR. Remember, they killed one of ADR earlier, right? So they do know they have a man advantage in the compound if they do want it. But it's still so hard. They're making the play into the ridgeline. They are trying to swing out of the compound. They now got to run Nabat down. If he can stand here, it's an absolute Herculean task. But if he can use his cover, and he nails them out in the open, it's going to be hard for Bushido.
Really tough. Really tough. For not only Bushido, but for GG as well now. Even though it's a different scenario. Look at how they have position. Believe is not actually engaging this as much as I thought they would. I'm not sure if the sidelines aren't good enough. Maybe if they push across and pull up on the ridgeline that GG's playing, maybe they're going to be spotted out by the compound, because otherwise I'm surprised they're not cleaning this up right now. The sooner you take out GG, the more control of the game you get, the more you can focus on everyone else. But right now they're a little bit too scared to do that. Instead, they want to focus on positions, on the rocks, on the forests, on the trees right in front of them. Engaging GG, and this could work against them, because after all, it is GG. You give them the advantage, or even the opportunity to take down some of you, and they might just take all.
Oh? Nabat got 2. Nabat's got 2 of Bushido. Bushido is not looking good in this at all. ADR wants a piece of the pie as well. Now Celtic peeking up, surely going to be sent back down in a matter of seconds. And he will not be entering this zone, I don't think. ADR is going to say, no, thank you. We will close this out. Akeem is going for the maximum amount of high ground he can get. Just like that, Bushido out of the compound. ADR 0 of the points, though. Can they at least get Nabat? Can they at least hold off versus Fairy Tail? They need a few points here. If they want to close the gap to FaZe, or if they even want to defend their spot on the leaderboard against teams like GG.
Not over yet. Front of the ADR, you can see 4 players on the other side, and like you said, right, it's must be frustrating for them. Essentially they're sitting here the entire game. It's phase 8. It's almost the end of the game. Phase 9 next phase, and you haven't got anything of the first initial phase. Like literally nothing. Everyone's been falling all around you. So many players, but you're getting nothing. This is maybe potentially now the first frag you're gonna get in a very long time. And that's against GG. The one team that's literally the furthest from you. Like, the frag that literally matters the least. About to see whether or not that stays through, even after that phase. Because they will need to fight Fairy Tail, I think. Where the Pinnacle's position right now, I think Fairy Tail has got a little bit of positional advantage.
Yeah, they might be in a better spot right now. GG down to 1, just layers in the smoke. Fight on the north. Should be coming to a close at some point. Hope's trying to spot it. Layers will hear what's going on, but he won't be able to see it from the middle of that smoke, and he probably won't know there's a Panzerfaust on the other end. Doesn't matter now, it goes far. Comes out, takes 1, and there should be a trade. He gets 2. He does the damage, but he does fall, and the reses should be in place. Akeem goes for the roof here, gets more and more space, more and more high ground. He's surely going to punish at least 1 here. He does have to connect the shots, though, and he didn't reload. That's a disaster. That gives Fairy Tail a bit of time to try and retaliate with Util, but so far, nothing coming on in. Hixes goes down. It's a 3v2 in the compound, but this is so much damage coming in from the top. Finally traded out.
Really good stuff though coming in from him. Maybe Lou can do something about this. He almost lined up the shots. That could have been insane against Fairy Tail. But he just missed out. I think that's his chance gone. More Blue Zone's grenade will force him more towards the edge. That 21 damage is not to be underestimated either. If once he has a chance at this, of clutching this, he needs every single HP point he can get. And now they're closing down on him. Fairy Tail, one more flash. They still can't find him though. They have to be careful because as soon as they overcommit, they're going to be open to believe. They're still a 4-man strong, and Lou, look at this, he's got a little bit of jammer backpack left. That runs out now. Get out with a first aid. Can he maybe get it well? No, he doesn't. So that leaves a 3-on-4 now. April will find Lou and believe with this circle. I mean, it's their game to lose, isn't it, Kobo?
It is their game to lose at this point. Belief. They get something going here in the last game of the tournament. It hasn't been the Belief show, really. They've struggled through the stages, but they have come to the finals, and they have shown a respectable showing here as well. They're going to bump themselves up the standings a little bit more with that last game. Fairy Tail on the other side, they've done so much work with 2 less games than everybody else. They can be really proud of them too. It is numbers advantage for Belief, but the experience... You gotta give that a little bit to Fairy Tail, right? You gotta give that little edge to them here. Folded shield as well is gonna do a lot of work, especially if he smokes one more time in front of him, puts it in the smoke, gets it close to the center of the circle. Could be massive.
Really not a good omen that Belief has been playing so passively throughout this game as well. They almost gave it up by not securing that southern side of the ridgeline in Swamp a little bit more as well. Just about in time for the push to come in that we saw across the field from Hope. But in the end, they are standing 4-man strong, and that last fight is about to happen before we head into the big storyline that has indeed concluded. If we win or die in a sense, Smoke still in between both of these teams. Distance is now closing. Both of them are trying to hit some of the shots to the smoke. First contact is now happening. Left side around the smoke. Cons! Oh my word! He gets 1, he gets 2. Bombelovo jumps into the mix as well. Ansley hits the floor, and this is disaster right now for Believe. They have indeed given it away. It's a 3-on-1, not a single knock being secured in the late stages of this game. Phase 9, 30 seconds until really just no space is available anymore, and they're looking for it, they're hunting for it. No knock is going to be able to get rest back up here either. as one more flush comes on through, and the last smoke is about to dissipate as well. More flushes, more winning shots are going their way, and that's about it. What a disaster coming in for Belief, and what a cleanup from Fairy Tail. They will indeed find their second round, the second victory of the day, and I cannot make up my mind. Was that Belief playing a little bit too passive? Was that just Fairy Tail hitting their shots? Either way, an explosive finish, I think, to an explosive series, to be honest, because these last 12 games has been insane. And the big storyline here that we got to pick up on is Ascent, right? Cole, we can't stress this enough. It's been such a tough road getting here in the first place. They've had the best point average up until this game, and they're giving it away like this.
Rough times. Rough times if you're an Ascent fan. Lovely if you're Win or Die, because you got to see the comeback on the last day, right? We started it with game 1. It was looking a little bit doubtful when the rondo rolled around, but man, it does hurt a bit. I was ready to watch Ascend win that tournament, especially after their second day where they just looked super clean, got themselves a nice little gap, but it wasn't meant to be. You gotta give a shout out to Fairy Tail though. They win 2 games today. What if they were playing all the games, right? What if they were able to get their players into every match? I'm not sure what we would have seen, but impressive stuff from them. A team that's been around forever, a team that has tons of experience. They don't have the craziest names on the roster, right? But individuals that keep popping off. So love to see it for Fairy Tail, and a well-deserved win in the last game.
100%. Well-deserved win as well for Win or Die. I mean, we've been saying, okay, wow, how does Ascent give away this tournament? But maybe the real fact is that Win or Die is able to catch up on 20 points. I think that's a bigger storyline than Ascent giving away this tournament win, actually. Because yes, Ascent didn't have any good rounds today, but that in theory should have still been enough, just based off of the first 2 amazing days that we've seen come out from Ascent. Like, they've just played incredible PUBG. They've won the first 2 rounds of this series. In case you haven't watched it, watch it back. That was a dominant start, and they haven't won anything in day 2, but they've had an even more consistent day in day 2, even without winning any of the games. And that's been the problem that we said might happen after the first day. That didn't happen at all. They were even more consistent. So catching up on a team like this, that's not an easy feat. Win or Die has made it possible, though. So shout out to them, catching up 20 points in a best of 4. Once again, that's something that I've seen very, very few times happen in PUBG Esports. And they did it. So shout out to Win or Die, and it did it in a very convincing fashion as well. Yes, last game, it still came down to the wire there. Didn't do a lot more after the initial couple of frags that we saw that kind of took them above Ascent, but everything before that, the first 3 games, nothing short of amazing. Win or Die playing to almost perfection.
Yeah, you gotta give some credit where credit is due. And I don't know. It's just that Rondo game, right? Or that Tego game, excuse me, with Brex falling out of the glider and then Chris getting knocked right after, and they get breached there and cleared out by GG. That must hurt so much. And then, I mean, this game as well, they had a chance to take out Win or Die as well, but they just lose the straight-on battle. There was a lot of chances for Ascent to win that. It was close in a lot of regards, and they will go back and think about a lot of the games where they could have gotten 1 or 2 more points, and they could have made the difference, but it wasn't meant to be. There's that Fairy Tail I was talking about as well, right? Big nades from Bombilovo, nicely cleaning up that late game, knowing their angles as well, grabbing the power positions. But yeah, I'm not sure who actually ended up in a 3rd and a 4th and a 5th here. I think ADR probably has done a lot of the work to push themselves into 3rd, but I'm not sure. FaZe, GG, they were pretty close there. So the leaderboard's definitely tight at the top. And it was as tight as it could be, really, until the last game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's thanks to both Win or Die and Ascent at the same time, right? Because, yes, only one of them won, obviously, but it gave us the finish that we saw right here. It really did come down to just a very, very last game, to a couple of the very last minutes that we're seeing here. And unfortunately, Ascent out with the early takedown from Hope. That was kind of the breaking point. I think if that wouldn't have happened, they would have just cleaned to the western side, at least had the opportunity to just clean to the western side in the fashion that they've shown us the last 2 days. But that didn't happen. They lose a player in the first minutes, and that's just about the worst thing that could happen. Tie that with bad luck today, as we've seen Brexco perfect position, unfortunately getting knocked by his own, we can only assume it's been a glider, we haven't seen it, but it must have been the glider. And then that happens, that happens, that's PUBG, sometimes that happens, knock yourself with a glider, it's a dangerous threat at times, but GG off the back of that, having the perfect timing to utilize that, to really abuse that self-knock from Brexkion, ultimately taking them down as a result. That's kind of been the breaking point. I think that must have been like a mental struggle after that as well, right? You knowing, okay, so the first 2 games haven't really gone our way, we still got 20 points, but then that happens. Finally getting into a good position, everything seems to be perfect. Brexkion knocks himself to get breached by 4 GG players. Man, that's gotta hurt as well.
It's gotta sting. We have a leaderboard ready for you guys, though. We have the conclusions, and we knew Win or Die would have done it in this game, but I wasn't sure who was 3rd, who was 4th, who was 5th. It is ADR and FaZe Clan and Gaming Gladiators. Gaming Gladiators beating out Fairy Tail by 1 point, by a tiebreaker, 0 points actually, to stay in that 5th place. So they've locked that up, that top 5 for themselves. But Fairy Tail 6th with 10 games in a best of 12. Last time I'm talking about them, I promise, but I think that's impressive as well. But it's the big story we talked to death. It's Win or Die, 3 points ahead of Ascend.
Crazy scenes. I mean, we saw exciting play in these games as well. I didn't think that the leaderboard was going to be as exciting, though. I got to be honest. Ascent was running away with the first 2 days. Then it still came down to this. You got to give it up to both of these. Win or Die especially. What a comeback. We've said it a million times. But also give it up for Fairy Tail. Winning 2 games today. You've talked about this. Hands of Hope as well. Coming into the qualification process all the way back in, I think, the first week. They've played amazing in the first Players' Cup. Coming in from the scrims of the way dominant performance as well, and then qualifying here, having this kind of performance with these amount of really good teams as well. It's not a given either. So Hands of Hope continuously improving. I'm excited to see where this one leads, because once again, this is not the last tournament we're going to see from them. I'm very sure. Freeside, same could be said about them. Baldi, Nini, glimpses of brilliance, right? Glimpses of brilliance here and there. Really good micromanage. The fight against FaZe Clan today that we saw in the 3rd game. Really, really great stuff. That's really great team play. That if you do that a little bit more consistently, you get to late them a little bit more consistently, you'll see them win as well.
100%, and they can be proud of what they achieved in this tournament, and they can look at that leaderboard and say, okay, we're better than some teams who have played multiple PUBG global championships, right? For Esports, Eternal Fire, right down there in 14th and 15th, beaten by a lot of these qualifier teams. That's got to feel good if you're a little bit newer to the format. Let's switch on over to the prize pool to see what these players are taking home, what these teams are taking home tonight. It's going to be 1,800 for Win or Die and 1,200 for Ascend. So they've essentially lost out on $600 in any of those games today where they got caught up. And then it trickles down 800, 500, 300. Trickles down throughout the rest of the top 8. And the bottom 8 go home empty-handed. But I'll say this another time. I know it sounds lame, but for a lot of these teams, this experience is pretty valuable as well. You don't get to play with the big dogs that many times in a real tournament setting.
For sure. I think that's the main takeaway for a lot of these teams. The money is nice, but I mean, we're I wouldn't say off season, but obviously we're in between the internationals. The big heavy hitters. We saw a lot of these teams obviously not being here because of PG7 as well. Otherwise, we would have an more stacked lobby. So this is more to keep everyone entertained, to kind of have a good training for the rest of the PUBG esports scene that's in here in the EMEA region. So it's great that this exists. It's great to give obviously viewing ability, playing ability, some of these lesser known teams as well. They're coming in that always have the chance. And if you want to be one of them, that's ultimately the point that I'm trying to make. If you want to be one of them, if you want to get into these types of tournaments, it's as easy as it's ever been. Literally, you have a chance to qualify to these almost every single week. This has been the scrims that we saw on the graphic originally. You sign up to these scrims, you can play it up to 4 times a week. You collect points, you play. You don't even need to be the best of the lobby. Like, it's fine. You just have to play a lot. And you might qualify to the PUBG Players Tour Cups that you see right here. And if you do, you'll be streamed. So get in there with your friends. It's not too far-fetched if you play the game on a regular basis that you might qualify on one of these weeks. And get in there. That's what I'm trying to say. Get in there. It's going to be a really, really great experience. And we cannot stress this enough, Kobo. Esports is so different.
It is different. It's different than playing the normal games you used to. But if you're dominating in ranked, then it's a good time to get into scrims. They literally start tomorrow, by the way. The next circuit starts tomorrow. You'll have 4 days of scrims. in the evenings. You play as many of them as you can, and you might just make it into the next Player Cup that's already on the next weekend. So we're playing a whole lot of competitive PUBG here. There's a whole lot of chances to learn and to improve, and there's a whole lot of chances for Ascend to maybe come back and win another one of these. But we'll see if they are able to do that again. Scrim's starting tomorrow. Next Player Cup is on the next weekend. So there's plenty more of this. And shout out for PUBG to putting up all of this PUBG, right? We've seen your messages in chat. Some people saying they enjoy, some people just still on hating because this thing is new and they're not used to new stuff. It wouldn't be here at all if PUBG wasn't putting up this tournament. So you would have no place to sit in Twitch chat and hate if PUBG didn't put up these tournaments. So shout out to PUBG for making it happen. And again, if you're a big dog in chat and you're telling all these players that they're lame and you're better, then just go show us. Go prove it. And you could be the next free side that comes in here, or the next belief that comes in here and wins a game. So just, start playing.
Start playing, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start playing as well next week. Not with me. With me in one of the days.
We'll see.
Least. But we'll see who casts. Mark is still on vacation, unfortunately. That's the only reason I'm here anyways, by the way. So thanks, obviously, for letting me sub in. But yes, Mark is going to be back in time. There's a lot of questions on that in the chat as well. So don't worry. Mark is going to be back in time. He literally went on the chat like a couple of minutes ago. He's in the airport right now. He's still watching PUBG, by the way. Give it up for Mark. I mean, this guy's got dedication for days. He's probably going to try and see the VOD while flying, actually. He's probably going to try to get some, probably going to buy Wi-Fi on the plane, which is hella expensive to watch this. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for letting me cast this as well. And thank you once again for PUBG for making this happen. More tournaments, the better it gets. You said it all out there, I think. Thanks for joining this evening with us. It's been a pleasure to see you guys next week.
Production, everyone behind the scenes. Shout out to everyone to making this happen. And yeah, sorry to interrupt you there.
No worries.
See you guys next week.
See you guys next week.